Sorry, ladies. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. It is finals week this week, and we are home at the circuit, Donington Park, the home of SimPlay Racing. And hopefully, you should be able to hear my co-host Alexa Marshall. But Lexi, it is the final week. It has come down to two teams in the end. We've already crowned our champion, but what an exciting season it's been.
Has been, and it's going to come down to this under the flight path of the East Midlands East Midlands Airport and just south of Derby. It's Donington Park, and it is well known across the board. O'Reilly sits as the reigning champion, and he is there tonight. We did see it unlike last week, where we did not see him. However, it's not down to that tonight. The championship for the drivers is done and dusted, Dan, but we have got a very interesting fight coming into this one, especially in the team's aspect.
We have indeed, and first things first, before we get into all of that, obviously we want to make a massive shout out to the entire drivers and to the entire season this season. Obviously, the first things I want to mention, towards the end of this session, we're not just going to randomly disappear. The server is going to be reset, and we're going to do a lap of honor, because obviously, Alexa, the reason why we've raced this season and why we picked the Ginettas is to mark the respect of one of our lost comrades that we used to have racing with us, Whodarron, aka Aaron, who used to race with us in the 93 Ginetta back in the GT4 days, and that's why we ran this championship, in honor of his memory and his family, to look back and see that SimPlay have given something back to him, and a reminder that he still races on in our hearts and are in our championship. So I want to say a massive thank you to all the drivers who've made it to the very end of the season, and obviously yourself, Alexa, as well, or Lexi, for joining me this season. It has been a fantastic season, awesome to watch, awesome to commentate, and nonetheless, it has been a fantastic week, 13 weeks of racing.
I think one of the reasons for that is just simply because of the way that the format runs. Of course, similar to the BTCC, apart from we have several qualifying sessions instead of one qualifying session, but 3 20-minute races and cars such as these, it just creates the aspect of it's down to the drivers and it's down to how they set up those cars. Because when you're in equal machinery, then you are on a level playing field. Sprinkling some rain in there, which I am convinced was avoiding the Whodarron Cup this season. But nonetheless, these drivers have been on an absolute level playing field, and they've been having an absolutely mega time as you currently watch drivers going around the field. Of course, it's Donington Park. Dan, we know this circuit. Everybody knows this circuit. But it's just one of those. No better place for a season finale.
Indeed, indeed. Obviously, most famously known for mainly the British British Touring Car Championship. Obviously, Donington Park, it has hosted Formula One events. That amazing race where Ayrton Senna was in that McLaren that was underpowered, really just rubbish, but ended up basically going from 4th to 1st in one lap around this amazing circuit, which was phenomenal to watch. But obviously some very famous corners around here as well. Obviously up towards turn 1, Redgate, then you go down to turn 2, 3 into the Crane of Curbs, down to Old Hairpin for turn 4, and then you head up towards McLean's for turn 7. Coppice is then turn 8, now known as the SimPlay Straight, which we've seen cranes going down into the S's and heading into the international section, and then down towards Melbourne Hairpin and Goddard's. And this circuit, as well as an FIA Grade 2, was looking to go FIA Grade 1 to try and get Formula 1 back here a couple of seasons ago, but sadly never got to the caliber. World Superbikes ends up coming around here, as does the British GT, BTCC as well, and TCR UK as well. Many events have been held here, and the lap record on the Grand Prix circuit is a 117.7 done in an A1 GP car set by Kamura Sato, and like I said, a Lola A1 car. And if anyone doesn't know what the A1 cars, they were a kind of like a nations championship, kind of like an Olympics version. And the lap record for the GT3s is a 124.9, and that was done in a McLaren 720S Evo, and that was done in 2023. Alexa, obviously this circuit is really given, it's an old school classic British circuit in it. There's elevation changes, tight corners, blind cresses, and very daring corners as well. what does it take for a driver to really master this circuit?
I think one of the things that you need to learn to master with this circuit is that there's no runoff. You go off this circuit, you're in the grass, which is very typical of British circuits apart from Silverstone. But nonetheless, I think that's one of the hard points. It's the art of trying to find where you can push that car and how far you can push it out to maximise those corners. Be out far, come in, hit the apex, and then back out again. But you want to be right on the limit. So much that one more millimetre, and you are going to start losing time. And it's there that it creates that moment of, I am good with this circuit. I'm going to go down to the old hairpin for this. That is probably the finest example of where it happens, because you're coming down through the Carina curves and then you're going into old hairpin. You have to turn it in so nicely, and then you have to really push it out on the exit. So that's going to be, I think this is just in general as well. Old hairpin is definitely going to be one of the big places to watch tonight, especially on that lap number 1, Dan, because we've seen this season that lap number 1 can definitely create some interesting aspects.
Although you say there is no rain around, there is the tiniest amount of rain that is lurking, and that can make a massive difference here at the circuit. The track change is completely different as well. Max in the chat saying Matt Wright coming for a top 5, I think because of his last race. And let's hear you in the chat. Let's get one more hype in this last week of racing. But let's talk about the main chat tonight. Obviously, O'Reilly has been phenomenal this season. He has been the man to beat. Last year's GT4 champion, and technically these are still GT4, so he is basically the reigning champion once again, and he has absolutely dominated this season once more. But it is about the two teams who are all in the pits at the minute, which doesn't help. It is about SimPlay Racing and Team GBR. There are other teams that are still mathematically in the championship, but with the amount of points that are still left available, it is going to be incredibly difficult. But Lexi, SimPlay versus GBR, a battle of the Caesars, a battle of the Titans, and two of the most established teams on the grid. Let's just have a quick chat about that, because it is down to this now. It is down to whoever outscores the other, because it's only 5 points separating the two.
Indeed it is. However, I will put this in here, as of course you weren't here last week, Dan, when we were at Valencia. The thing which I'm looking at here, is GBR going to have an advantage in the mindset? Because last week we did end up seeing Rob Ramsell and Matthew Duffin coming together at turn number 1 in race number 2 in the thick of it, which ended up costing them quite a lot of points. So I'm wondering about the mindset going into this one. Yes, it's the finale, but are we going to see a bit of desperation as they try and build up that gap? Because we will most likely, they will not want that to happen again, and they will want to create as big of a gap as possible. But now GBR as well, how are they going to play the mind games? Are they going to play the safe game and hope for the best, or are they going to really push it out there? Personally, this may sound crazy if you're in the Discord and you saw earlier this season, but I'm going to put my bets on Team GBR because it is looking good for them, and realistically, I'm wondering where the SimPlay mindset's at.
Well, it's all gloves off either way. I'm going to have to look the way SimPlay. They've been testing a lot this week, and it's not just testing on their own. They've been testing together, and Matt and Rob have been working together to make a setup and have worked really well to really develop something. And obviously this is a circuit that Duffin goes to regularly. It's basically a circuit that's just next door to him, and he loves this track. So this is very much a Duffin circuit. Ramsell's looking competitive, but again, John and Daz have been incredibly competitive here in the past as well. So to me, it's anybody's game between the two teams. It's just whether or not they stay out of trouble. A couple of guys in the chat, Damien Hibbs, aka Hibbs, looking forward to this one. Going to be a great 3 races. The great final 3 races that it is. Clarball, evening folks, and good luck to you all. Mike Matthews, let's go. Whodarron Cup. Good luck all. Put a great show in memory of Aaron, and Chris Daines in the chat saying evening, and a supporter of Duffin. Into qualifying we go, and here we go, Alexa Marshall. This is going to be key. Duffin nearly drops out of the way of the pit lane, but a couple of drivers we also need to mention as well tonight. Obviously a few drivers have had issues this season, and one of the drivers that have had an issue is this man that's on the screen now, Keynes, who is going to be scoring points for Dapper. Obviously, he had a cast on not long ago, injured himself, and has been out of racing for a while. It's nice to see him return to the final race and support O'Reilly to the very end. We also see Skunky also making a return. Where is Skunky? I can't find him on the board. Skunky. There he is, currently in pit lane. He's in the pit lane, that's why I can't find him. Skunky makes a return as well to the grid, and it's nice to see him racing with his fellow teammate, Greasy Bandits driver Ian McGowan. So it's nice to see a lot of the drivers returning back, and Chris Danes said, go on, Matt. Max saying, come on, Matt, right. And Ben Rook, another driver up for the title in the Pro, in the chat saying, evening, everyone, as well. So we go into qualifying, Lexi. Who's looking good for pole?
I mean, let's be honest, we've looked at it all season, haven't we? I've got to go O'Reilly. He's forever good around here, but you've also, like you said earlier, Matthew Duffin, he goes to this circuit so much, he probably knows it like the back of his hand at this point. So how is that going to fare for him as well? This may be one of the circuits where you cannot count him out. He's had good qualifying sessions across the board as well, so he may be on a bit of a roll. But we're about to find out, because qualifying is going underway for the first lap around here at Donington Park under the flight path, and you now go racing again down towards turn number 1 of Redgate. How is it going to fare for Matthew Duffin for SimPlay Racing for number 55 as it comes across the screen, and you go over a slight little crest before heading down the elevation and through the crane of curves. Going to head down towards Old Hairpin. How is the GT4 going to rock through there? Of course, GT3s go a bit more chunky, GT4s a bit more slim. Nice and tidy over the curve. Uses the drag, maybe not as much as you might like, but he's going to keep it on the board, and he's going to keep it tidy for the time being. Up and through the left-hander, now through the right-hander as you head towards Coppice, as you go on to the SimPlay straight after. But you got to remember, Coppice, uphill, blind right-hander. You have got to make it perfect. Somebody's already lost it on the exit and returned to pit lane. I believe that was Stardog. Now onto the SimPlay straight, down towards the S's. The good old chicane here at Donington. Of course, you go right if you're not using this level. Or on the international layout, you go left. That's invalidated as Matthew Duffin sends it too hot. That is straight across and through the gravel.
That is indeed, and that chicane is going to be a absolute nightmare here tonight. Tips in the chat, cruising at the back for me tonight. His wheel has died this evening, and what a time for it to pack in just as the season break comes up. And I will have some discussions about the season break, because there are some interesting things coming up for you guys. But as Duffin comes out of the final corner now of Redgate, and he will start another lap here. No one's setting a valid lap at the minute, as O'Reilly now comes to the line and sets the benchmark of a 34.9, as then Smith now comes to the line to just go behind him. 4 tenths is now Keynes, as Langley, another championship contender later on in this week. Tomorrow night we'll be going for the Pro-Am Championship, and it is all to play for. Him and Vitas going at it head to head. Millington goes into P3 as his teammate Matt Wright now comes out of pit lane, as we now wait for other cars to come to the line. Varga goes into P4, and we now wait for Best to cross the line, and he sets the pace to go into 7th place, as Cherrymore has just gone into 5th. A little bit of practice that I've been seeing. Cherrymore does seem to have quite a little bit of pace this evening as well. Max, in the chat, we do have a Discord link in our description. If you have a look in there, or the sim grid, we have a sim grid, sorry. Go to sim grid, type in SimPlay Motorsport, get yourself signed up, and then once you're signed up there, we are able to get yourself into the Discord, and then you are able to then do your hot stint, and we are able to categorize you as well. Fun events coming up very, very soon, as well as we will have 3 fun events that I'll be organising. One event is not really a fun event, it's actually an endurance race, so we'll talk about them a little bit later on. But Lexi, the Bont is fastest at the minute at 34.5 and looking rapid at the minute.
Sorry, I just heard endurance. Are you gonna make me bust my wheel out again for endurance? Jeez, we saw what happened last time.
Well,
right now, Matthew Duffin, P number 3.
It's only a 6 hours, so you won't have to do 24.
Oh, thank God. People need ball knowledge to understand it, okay? People need the ball knowledge. But right now, you got a few more drivers coming to the line. DeBon is now top 1 minute 34. Got triple five. Didn't know that we had Tyner wearing here. But we got O'Reilly P2, Cairns P number 3. Yo, not out there. Same with Tipping or Aberdeen. We've also got Skunky not out on the circuit. Wright going round, Marsden going round. I'm wondering here, Dan, where is Wright going to end up? Because I'm seeing a lot of support for him tonight. So the 135 is definitely one to prove himself. And don't forget, Quantum could still get it. Like, it's a very, very much outlier. Like, it will be very hard for him to get them. But of course, you've got 3 races. You can never count them out. And Matt Wright might just be the man to do it.
And speaking of upset, McGowan's just split Riley and DeBont. He's now gone into P2. Some of the drivers that are actually currently in pit lane do have a qualifying ban. So, for example, Darren Yeo has a qualifying ban, and I believe Skunky also has a qualifying ban. Tipping, obviously, with no wheel to his name. I think he's starting from the back just to stay out of trouble. So a few of the drivers actually do have a qualifying ban. But once again, DeBont goes faster, 34.1. We're getting close to the 33s at the minute. But you're moments before the end of the session, we got DeBont from McGowan, from O'Reilly, from Keynes, from Duffin, from Ramsell, Goudet, Millington, Varga and Langley, your top 10 at the moment, as I see O'Reilly coming to the line and no improvement from him. As these guys will start to get a little bit frustrated. They'll usually find their benchmark relatively early, and then from then onwards they'll start to struggle to find those little bit of tenths. And if you're like a Max Verstappen, a Michael Schumacher, Fernando Alonso or Hamilton, you're able to find that time out of nowhere. And right now, that's what these guys need to do. They need to find those times with the littlest amount of qualifying session that they have. And on a circuit like this, it is not easy. Let's put it that way. As Stardog and Leach still yet to put a lap time on the board. And Leach is on a lap, so he is coming to the final corner now. And we'll see what Gary Leach can do. He's gone very wide. That is not going to count for a lap. And I believe Stardog is on an invalid lap as well. So last few chances here, but at the minute, Duffin is looking strong for SimPlay Racing, putting up to P5, and with his teammate just behind him as well. That's very good points for them to score.
Indeed it is, with 2 minutes 22 on the clock. It's Bont who leads, followed by McGowan, then O'Reilly. It is then going to be Cairns, Duffin, Ramsell, Goudet, Wright, Langley, Millington rounds out the top 10, followed by Stardog, Flop, Vargas, Smith, Cherrymore, Marsden, Best, and then Archer. People are still in the pit lane, and Leach is the only driver yet to get a lap time on the board. Matthew Duffin come around the final corner, but like always, the top 3 are absolutely mega out there.
Yeah, these are very, very quick times for the Genettas. I think that is O'Reilly coming to the line, and no improvement either. And a reminder as well, DeBont has barely got any ballast on board. And a reminder as well how this season has worked out. It is purely based on championship ballast. And with these guys, if you're top of the championship, aka O'Reilly, who's pretty much carried 40 kilos all season, he gets a little bit of a success ballast to slow him down. Obviously, that clearly hasn't done anything, because he has found a way to tweak and change the car to be competitive. But DeBont doesn't have any weight, and he is looking fast at the minute. Max in the chat, yeah, Mike Matthews dropping a link there, so hopefully you'll be able to get yourself signed up and in as DeBont exits the final corner and see if he can improve on a 34.1. He comes to the line, and no improvement at this moment in time. As Gary Leach now comes to the line himself. Can he get that lap time on the board? He can, and puts him in 14th, and he has another lap to go as well. 1 minute to go for this first race, 3 races to come. And what an exciting few races we have ahead of us. 20-minute sprints, no pit stop required, just door-to-door racing. How we love it here, Lexi, don't we?
Oh, yes, we do. You were comparing Formula 1 drivers. I think if we're going to compare anybody around here, it's going to be BTCC drivers like Tom Ingram, Ash Sutton. It is really one to play for. It's generational in the UK, the best racing circuit in the UK, some would argue. But other than that, it's going to be around the final corner for O'Reilly. Is he going to get improvement? We'll wait and see for him. As he just currently sit P number 3. Goes to P1 though, 134.035. With 10 seconds left on the clock. Dan, we are getting quick around here as it's 25-degree track, 20-degree ambient, optimum track surface with no rain on the forecast. 20 degrees Is it a heat wave here in the UK?
It is not, as John Goudet comes into the pit lane. It is going to call off, though, a little bit later on due to this being an evening race. That's one other thing I forgot to mention. Millington coming to the line, only 10th for him, so he's struggling there. But either way, McGowan's the only one who can really upset O'Reilly. Not quite into the 33s, but nonetheless a fantastic lap time, and that is why he is champion. He just shows how good he is, even with the 40 kilos on board. He can nail a lap around this beautiful circuit that is Donington Park. They said just outside of Midlands East Airport. Yeah, near an airport.
Under the flight path of the East Midlands Airport, and it's 20 minutes south of Derby. There you go.
Thank you. A lot of cars into pit lane, not improving now. Pretty much everyone done. It is only down to Duffin and O'Reilly, who are still yet on a lap time. Can O'Reilly get into the 33s? That is the question. Do you do all tracks, e.g. Nürburgring? Are you specifying the Nordschleife or just the normal Nürburgring? To the line comes Duffin, no improvement. Does O'Reilly get to the 33s? No, he does not. So O'Reilly will start on pole. Your champion will be leading them off. But strike one at the minute, though, Lexi, goes to SimPlay Racing in the qualifying.
Definitely does. It definitely does. So we'll wait and see how it will fare in the race. This stream is brought to you by our sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. You can find more information about them in the description of this live stream or VOD/video. Whatever time you're watching. And seems that somebody did mention it in chat, we've got a little bit of time here, Dan. Would you like to talk us through the Patreon?
Yes, indeed. Once I've finished typing up the predictions for this race. Do you want to give us a run through of the grid order while I quickly run through this, and then I will go through the Patreon?
Oh, of course I can. So it is O'Reilly for Dapper Racing, who is going to line up on pole position here for the first of 3 20-minute races to come your way this evening at Donington Park. P2 is then going to be the Bond. P number 3 in the second row is going to be McGowan with Cairns alongside, followed by Langley and Ramsell. It's then going to be Matthew Duffin just behind his teammate with Matt Wright. Quantum Motorsport also under the SimPlay umbrella in P number 8. Flop for LIR sits in P number 9 with Team GBR's John Goudet in P number 10. So then going to be Steve Millington, the other Quantum driver, in P number 11 with BFR's Stardog in P number 12. Sodor Racing, Vedi Varga sits in P number 13 with Gary Leach in P number 14. Rob Smith, the other LIR driver, sits in P number 15 with Cherrymore P16. The other BFR driver of Marsden sits in P number 17. Archer P18 for RRM. And then you've got Best, Yo, Tipping, Aberdeen, and Skunky will round out your grid. We got 3 different classifications: gold, silver, and bronze. Easy way to differentiate: gold are the white number plates with black numbers, silvers are the grey number plates with white numbers, and your bronze drivers are the red number plates with black numbers. However, it's an overall championship, so all points are up for grabs. No wonder what your driver class may be. Of course, implemented this season. A big thank you to Matt Wright for helping to implement that.
Thank you indeed to Matt Wright. And as Lexi was saying, the Patreons is a massive thing that helps us in the channel to run the servers and everything. If you want to be a Patreon, basically a subscribed member to the channel, all you have to do is head up to the Discord page. It is £3 a month. It is not that much. It is literally less than a Tesco's meal deal. You can go and get yourself your own race number, so no one can take your race number away. So for example, number 16 is what I like to run, and no one will be able to use that one. You also get priorities of sign-ups, so if you want to sign up and it's quite busy, you will be the one to definitely get a spot as being an avid member here at SimPlay Motorsport. All your links and stuff will be linked to the Discord as well, so your streams, all your posts and everything will be linked to the Discord as well, so you're able to have all your streams posted in there. And also the big one, Lexi, which is going to be very, very key for next season: if you are a Patreon, you get to vote on what circuits are on the calendar next season. It's no longer down to us admins, it is down to you guys, the drivers, aka the Patreons, to decide what we are running next season. And by the sounds of things, we're going to have a shortened season as well. 13 races has been a long stretch, but we wanted all the data for every single circuit. We have that now, and now we're going to shorten it back to 10 rounds It's going to be an exciting season. But if you want to be a Patreon, it's only £3 a month. Your name will come up on the stream as well, and you'll be thanked for all of your donations towards the channel, and it helps us out massively. But Lexi, that's a big thing though for the Patreons to vote for, choosing their calendar, and that's a big thing as well.
Indeed it is. Like, coming into this season, it's been one of the best. We've been doing lots of different circuits, but every single new season is going to be a different time round, and you're going to see some incredible circuits, but you can only select 10, so it's going to be interesting to see what will be there, guys. Like, please, I beg, do not select Indianapolis, as right now they're coming around these final few corners, Dan, and they're going to go double file. So seems as it's the first race of the evening, and we always do this in this format. I shall hand it over to you for what you do best.
Thank you very much, Lexi, for the third to last time of the season for the Whodarron Cup. It is going to be exciting. It is going to be fun. It is O'Reilly, your champion, on pole position ahead of DeBont. Who's going to win as we get ourselves ready for the green? There's a poll in for who you think is going to win as we now wait for starters orders. And we are underway here at Donington Park, and DeBont has got the jump heading towards turn number 1, as McGowan also just going to send it up the inside of Keynes, but the inside is the better line, and O'Reilly leads them into turn number 1 as DeBont has a big slide. Meanwhile, further back, everyone else is staying out of trouble. Marsden not making a start. He ended up teleporting back. I'm not sure how fallen back, but a few drivers dropping off the back of the pack there. But we are underway and racing here at Donington Park as McGowan has got the jump now on DeBont as well. So a bad run through here.
Yeah, a big moment down at the old hairpin. Two drivers getting caught up in it. I believe it was Rob Smith and Stardog. One going into the back. I believe Stardog went into the back of Rob Smith at the apex. So that is what's happened at the back. Otherwise, it has been pretty clean and tidy throughout the rest of the field, and they have been holding on to it for quite a long time, as you still got Steve Millington defending from Benny Varga. Gary Leach versus Matt Wright down towards the S's. Is he going to back out? Is he going to try go for it? Going to give him a bit of a squeeze there. Matt Wright looks for it, decides to back out. Up and under, tries one side through the S's. Bumps over the sausage curb, but Matt Wright onto the grass. This is all to play for, but Benny Varga's about to make it for a square.
Langley's off. Duffin's gone round. Duffin has had contact made to him, possibly with Langley, and that puts John Goudet ahead of him. And Darren Yeo, even though he had a qualifying ban, has stayed out of trouble, and he is now behind the SimPlay Racing driver as Langley comes across Daz there, as Darren Yeo trying to get through, and Langley allowing him to go up the inside. So Darren Yeo now onto the back of a SimPlay Racing driver. Meanwhile, Ramsell staying at the front and is right behind McGowan, and he actually sets fastest lap of the race, does Ramsell. So important to see as we go towards the end. Gary Leach is another one to keep an eye on. British circuit, and he is phenomenal at these British tracks as well, being a massive touring car fan. So keep an eye on what Leach does later on in this one. But O'Reilly, though, after lap 1 has got a somewhat comfortable gap over DeBont, and DeBont will be hunting him down. Keynes, though, in that P3 position, looking solid as we got McGowan just behind him. Ramsell scoring decent points with Flop just behind Goudet in that P7, with Leach in P8, Varga P9, and Millington rounding off your top 10 ahead of Matt Wright. Now we got that Duffin Yo fight as well, with Langley in 14th, Best in 15th, Aberdeen, Skunky all going at it as Skunky tries to work his way through the pack as best he can. And it has been an exciting first start to this race, Lexi, as we head through the chicane.
Lap number 1 being monumental, as it always does, but now these guys are going to go at it again and again and again. It's a pretty big start. When you look at it, they're not that far behind. As here comes the good old Quantum cars, wheel to wheel, side by side. Going to look for it down the inside, down into Melbourne. Seemingly a good old switcheroo between the two drivers. So maybe Steve Millington letting Matt Wright past and telling him, go get him, because he knows that Matt Wright can be absolutely amazing around this circuit. Like you said, Dan, sometimes when you just go to a circuit that you know, it all starts to click.
It does indeed. Meanwhile, De Bont has got onto the backside of O'Reilly. So O'Reilly's now got to keep his eyes set behind. Meanwhile, McGowan has dropped Ramsel. So Ramsel's in a solid P5 position at the minute and flopping P6. Goudet in a comfortable P7. He's still got Leach though, giving him pressure with Varga just behind. Then you got the two Quantums, and then you got Yo hunting down Duffin as quickly as he possibly can. Further back, Best is leading the bronze class. He's just ahead of Aberdeen and tipping just behind him with Archer 19th, Smith, Cherrymore, Marsden and Stardog on a recovery drive. But everyone else still relatively close to everyone. The train is staying well packed, but your top two though, De Bont and O'Reilly going for it. What would have De Bont been able to do if he'd done most of this season? Because he's looked phenomenal. Between him, Friedman and O'Reilly, they have really been the class of the field.
Yeah, I mean, you've looked at the three drivers. Ever since De Bont's come in, he's been absolutely flying. And you've also got O'Reilly and Friedman. They've been putting on an absolute show this season. Last week, we did see what De Bont and Friedman could do. They had an absolutely mega battle in the races. But now, he's got the champion right ahead of him, and he wants to prove his worth. He is going to go for him over and over and over again throughout this evening, it seems. And they are already starting to fight less than a second between the two drivers, but not enough space at the current moment in time. As in the background, that is Steve Millington, who is slow, seemingly getting overtaken. Matthew Duffin's gone through, Yo's gone through, Langley's gone through. Langley's going to try down the inside. It looks like Yo got half spun there. Lets him turn it round, but that could have ended very, very badly at good odds. But now they're going to try again going into turn number one.
They are indeed. Yo's going to try and go around the outside of Langley. Langley keeps it up the inside though and stays ahead of Yo, and that's going to hurt Team GBR in the points. And Langley, they go side by side going down the crane of curves, but Yo thinks better of it and backs off. We got also just behind them Skunky, who's looking very, very fast, and he doesn't care. He wants to work his way up the order as quickly as he can, and he's going to go around the outside of Millington as they head up towards McLean's. And Skunky should get that job done up the inside, and beautifully done indeed. Nope, Millington keeps his foot pinned though and stays around the outside as they head up towards Coppice, and I think he's going to struggle to hold that one now as yep, through goes Skunky and job done. Meanwhile, De Bont has lost pace to O'Reilly and dropping further back. McGowan meanwhile giving Keynes a little bit of a hard time, and Goudet now needs to clear flop as best he possibly can to stop Ramsel scoring too many points. Meanwhile, Leach under some immense pressure from Varga. Varga's going to go down the inside of Leach, and Leach is going to try and keep it strong around Melbourne Hairpin, but does not get the job done. Poor exit as well, allowing the Hungarian to come through.
Absolutely amazing there. I mean, you got to give them props, especially Millington and Skunky, side by side through Canners and through Starkleys and of course McLean's. That was absolutely amazing on what they were doing. But we're approaching the halfway mark here, and it does currently sit as it currently stands. Going to be looking for this one as well. Went a little bit deep there, did Tipping. That could have given Archer an opportunity to come through. As Tipping is there, that's Best in front for the Apex team, I believe. It doesn't say it on his name though. And they now head through into Redgate again. McGowan is chasing down Ken, so we may have a podium fight coming up on our hands. It's a 23-degree track, 20 ambient, optimum track surface with an overcast sky. Good old British weather as John Goudet is on the back of Flop, heading up and through McLean's, but now he's going to go deep, and he's going to go into the gravel in the background. So does Gary Leach, and man, now so many people are going to go fly through. Varga's flown through, and now he's bringing all these drivers in a fight. Matt Wright's there, Matthew Duffin's there, Langley is fallen further back, so you've got so many drivers. It's a bit hard to keep track of, but these guys having an absolutely amazing time around this circuit, I would say, because honestly, this is just the best thing about these cars. One mistake, next thing you know, you're locked in a fight with 3 other guys.
That's the good thing about the Genettas. They're just good, close, compact racing. Meanwhile, Skunky is now pressurising Yo, and Yo's got to look more in his rear view than he is looking forward. Meanwhile, Duffin has cleared Leach now, so that's a positioned gain for him, and more points towards SimPlay Racing. But Ramsel, though, holding it strong in P5, a very, very solid P5 at the minute. and they're keeping the rest of the pack behind. Meanwhile, Varga getting the jump on Goudet is not what Goudet probably wanted. He needs to then get back past him again and try and catch Flop as quickly as he possibly can. Meanwhile, De Bont has brought the gap back down once again, so we'll see O'Reilly and De Bont going at it for the win here, and we're only now just coming up towards the halfway stage of this race.
Halfway stage coming up, one more half to go here in the third to final round of SimPlay Whodarron Cup. Season 1 technically, because it's the first time it's been called the Whodarron Cup, but it's technically GT4s as well. So you go around these cars and you go around this circuit, you've got so many times around it with what these cars can do, and they are putting on a fight. That is going to be very, very deep there for the best. He goes into the grass. That's going to give Marsden a chance to come through, as well as Cherrymore. So that's what's happened at the very back.
Darren Yeo and Langley have come together.
Oh yeah, that is at McLean's Venk office. So that's what happened there. Here comes Millington, going to fly his way through, going down the SimPlay straight.
He is indeed, and Yeo getting a little bit beaten up here and passed by Millington and now Skunky. Meanwhile, we got Goudet who's stuck behind Varga, and it's Matt Wright, Duffin and Leach all right behind him. Meanwhile, Yeo's sending it up the inside of Millington, and he goes too deep and too wide, and back through goes Millington. So Yeo struggling here at the minute with these cars around him, but we still got the leaders very, very close. O'Reilly and De Bont going at it for the race win here. These guys, every week, Lexi, we seem to come back to these, and there is a scrap absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, I changed it while you were talking about the other battle happening around the field, but they were practically side by side, a little bit alongside was the Bond, so it wasn't properly side, but you know, and they were having a proper fight as halfway now into this race, as the ACC engineer says, or every single time. But either way, it's still another 10 minutes left on the clock in this one, and they are having a scrap and a skirmish wherever you may look. However, it does seem at the halfway mark everybody started to spread out a little bit, apart from the few fights that you do have going on around the circuit. But it seems all single file, and it's nice and tidy as O'Reilly leads halfway, followed by De Bont, then Kent, who is no longer on the podium. That's actually McGowan who's on the podium. So Kent's P4, and then Ramsell P number 5. And don't forget, Dan, we've got to think about the team's championship. Ramsell for SimPlay is currently P number 5. Goudet is P number 8 for Team GBR. You've then got Matthew Duffin P number 10 with Yeo P number 13. So right now, looks like it's going to go the way of SimPlay. Yeah,
at the minute they're going to gain a little bit on points on this one, and Ramsell now really giving Keynes a little bit of a hard time, so he might be able to gain a little place here, maybe get himself onto the top 4. But once again, De Bont gets close to O'Reilly, and O'Reilly goes wide. That's a mistake from him, and that is enough for De Bont to go up the inside as they go down towards the crane of curves, and job done. De Bont takes the lead of this race. O'Reilly still has fastest lap of the race though, but De Bont was stuck behind O'Reilly. Can he pull away, or can O'Reilly bring the gap back down? Ramsell starting to lose pace to Keynes as Goudet and Varga are still going at one another, and everyone else, as you say, has started to spread out quite a bit. It's relatively close between Marsden and Archer, but everyone else, it is evenly spread across the entire group. But O'Reilly, very, very unlikely there to make a mistake, and he did. It's a very, very uncharacteristic mistake from him.
Yeah, and you were talking about if De Bont is going to be able to hold on to this. From what we saw last week at Valencia, once he gets into that clean air, into that lead, he is incredibly difficult to pass no matter what the circuit is. So now it comes down for O'Reilly to say, hey, I'm the champion and I'm going to get past you. So that's what he's going to try to do as you got the Dapper Racing car chasing the BBR car. So now these two having a fight, and it's going to be absolutely lovely to watch. However, Dan, I will say this. Only the podium is gold drivers and the rest are silvers. The rest of the golds are either just finishing the top 10 or outside it.
Well, two of them did have a qualifying ban. That was Skunky and Darren Yo. So they did actually start from the back of the pack. Duffin, the only outlier really, who's obviously had that contact earlier on. So he's just a little bit off the pace. Meanwhile, Gary Leach having a big slide out of the final corner. And he's got now Skunky starting to give him a little bit of pressure. As O'Reilly just keeping terms with the Bond at the minute. But everyone else evenly spread. Just seeing if any closer battles. Millington's close to Smith. He's actually made a mistake. He's dropped back into this group of cars, as Millington was further up, so was not sure what happened there. But either way, Millington's still giving it a good crack as we go back to the front, and O'Reilly, excuse me, seems to be better in the middle sector compared to the first and final, compared to the Bond, because you can see him get really close to the back of him as he goes through Coppice.
Yeah, right on the edge, and right up the diffuser, or bumper, whatever you want to call it. And it is now going to be going down into the S's again with 6 minutes 20 left on the clock. We're 8 laps deep on lap number 9 now, so we're going to be going on to lap number 10 around this circuit. And they've been absolutely amazing tonight so far, I will say so myself. Cracking the egg, I wonder what type of eggs they're like. But now, going down into Goodhart's, it's going to be a good old fight because it's all I can really say, because these guys are absolutely astounding, Dan.
They are indeed. Meanwhile, Skunky has caught Leach. I think Leach has really been struggling, and there Skunky looking up the inside. He's going to struggle with traction, but he is going to get alongside as they head towards Goddard's. But I think Leach should be able to defend the inside unless he outbrakes himself. Skunky goes wide and should be able to cut back underneath, but he's not going to get the run, and Leach will just hang on to that position for the meantime as they head towards turn number 1 again. And Skunky looking for a possible opportunity up the inside, but he's not quite close enough. Meanwhile, Goudet has got Matt Wright for company, and Varga once again just ahead of him. He can't clear the Soldor racing car at this moment in time, and is really looking to try and work his way past and try and score as many points, but with the pressure of Matt Wright behind. Matt Wright's got nothing to lose. He wants to score as many points as he possibly can and try and get a podium if he can. And at the minute, there's just cars in his way to stop him doing that. Meanwhile, Skunky pretty much pushing Leach.
Yeah, push. It is at the end of the day the way it goes. And they now continue to go around the circuit again as they head through Coppice with 4:40 on the clock. It is getting pretty hefty here. You've got to wonder as they head towards the end of this race, are they going to look for a cheeky move from a little bit far back? That's what you constantly got to be careful of, is a dive bomb, especially down into the S's. They can be quite feisty at the end of the day. Same with Melbourne. Big exit there for Skunky. He's got that absolutely perfect right into the slip. Down on the inside, down into Melbourne. Wheel to wheel, side by side between the two drivers. He's going to want to get ahead and across as quick as possible, which he does to cover up the counter-attack. Now what does Gary Leach do? Does he go for a dive, or does he look to go on the next lap? It looks like he's going to go the next lap, but no, he's not. It's going to be Skunky who goes very, very deep. Just about holds on to it, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Skunky did there. I think he may have thought that Leach might have outbraked himself and go a little bit lunge and be a bit cautious, going a little bit wider. Ramsell, meanwhile, has lost pace to Cranes and is now... What?
They've come together at turn 1.
And Gary Leach is now backing off and allowing Skunky to return the position, but Darren Yo's coming down the crane of curves as well. He gets close, but not close enough to really mount an attack. He gets within reach, but at the minute Skunky and Leach really going at it at the minute, and I'm pretty sure both of the drivers are enjoying this scrap, but Yo is right there ready to capitalize on any error, any mistake, as Leach trying to fight back on Skunky. And at the minute, they are still ahead of Yo. Meanwhile, this gaggle of cars, Ramsell has lost pace to Cranes and has dropped into the clutches of Flott, Varga, Goudet, and now Wright, as Duffin is just off the pace of those guys. Skunky, meanwhile, still defending heavily from Leach.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a love tap down into, as it was a little bit of a tap down into turn number 1. It didn't look like a big one. Horrific reaction made it seem like it was, but it was just a bit of a tap on the inside, maybe a little bit unaware of how far forward his car was. But now let's put Yo into this fight as well, coming into these final laps. It is the Bond leading, and he's very close behind is O'Reilly. Looking at the last lap times, for these drivers, it was an interesting one because between them, it was the Bond, his last lap time being a 134.7, and then of course the O'Reilly's lap time being a 134.9 invalidated. So that's what's happening between those two. They're on pretty level pace. They're exchanging about 2 tenths per lap. So one lap, O'Reilly will be 2 tenths faster than the next. It's going to be the Bond, which, by the way, Stardog got a drive-through penalty, and he's now dropping all the way down to the back of the grid.
That's the other thing we've got to mention, track limits, especially at the chicane. It is lethal around this circuit, so they have to be careful. Ramsel falling into the clutches of Flop now. And this is really exciting, Goudet, because he's in this gaggle of cars. He can catch them, but we are going to probably start the final lap in a few moments' time as De Bont is leading the way with O'Reilly just behind him. O'Reilly still with the fastest lap to his name, and obviously that point for pole position also, as they are literally pushing tooth and nail right to the end here. And you can see there Ramsel having to go defensive now. He's had a bad run through the first couple of corners there.
Yeah, it's a very, very unfortunate moment for him as they do head around this circuit. You see so many cars behind him. Flop, Varga, John Gooday, and Matt Wright as well. So one mistake from any of these drivers, and they're going to be right in the grip of the one behind. It will be the final lap, even though it doesn't show it in the top right. The white flag will be flying there for the leaders because if ACC actually used it. But that is going to be where it currently sits. They're making their way through the old hairpin. Pretty clean down at turn number one for this gaggle of cars. That, of course, Ramsel, Flop, Varga, Gooday, and Wright. But they are having a nice little fight, but seemingly no mistakes for them at the moment, as unless there is one down into the old hairpin at the current moment. But nope, all nice and clean through that corner. Flop may fall in the grips of Varga now, though. So we're going to wait and see what will happen as the leaders are now onto the SimPlay straight.
They are indeed. We're watching the fight between Gary Leach and Yo-Yo's right there. Another point would be brilliant for his team, but he's not quite close enough yet. O'Reilly, though, has no answer to De Bont. And meanwhile, Flop is under pressure from Varga. Goudet's right there as well. So this train of cars is getting rather exciting, but we have to go back to the front. De Bont, once again, is looking phenomenal and looking good. One mistake from O'Reilly. That was a little chink in his armour, and that was all that De Bont needed. Heading to the final corner for the third to last time, De Bont exits the final corner and wins the first race here at Donington Park. Congratulations to him. O'Reilly comes home for a solid P2. McGowan now crossing the line for P3, back onto the top three positions. Crane's on his return, another solid P4 for him, and then Ramsel is going to hold off to the very end. Meanwhile, towards the line now comes Flop, Varga and Goudet, but Goudet doesn't quite get them. It goes Ramsel, Flop, Varga, Goudet, Matt Wright, then allowing Duffin through, with Skunky going into 11th. Leach in the end, crossing the line in 12th as Yo gets really close to the back of him. Langley in 14th. Aberdeen is now coming to the line to finish in 15th place position, as Tipping has now lost out to Millington as he comes to the line, and Millington takes the point there. Marsden now in P18, Smith P19, Archer in 20th, and we got Cherrymore finishing in 21st, Stardog in 22nd, and Best rounding off the grid. We're going to go to a quick break, but De Bont is your race winner ahead of O'Reilly and McGowan, and that is your third place rounding off. We'll be back in a few moments time for the second qualifying sessions. See you soon. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we now get ourselves underway for the next qualifying session here. And Lexi, obviously going into the next session, it's looking a lot cooler conditions, and the temperature will make an effect on these cars. And it's got a lot darker as well. It's a lot heavier cloud here as we go into the second qualifying session.
A lot more British now, I would say, which is very considerate, considering it is the penultimate qualifying of this series here in this season. And of course, got all the drivers out there. And once again, guess who's ahead? Matthew Duffin.
He is indeed. A quick rundown of the championship standings. It looks like this. O'Reilly still obviously champion, and Duffin in P2, Friedman in P3. Those places are pretty much done and dusted. Yo, P4 ahead of Goudet, who's close to outscoring his teammate, but not by much, as Matt Wright is just behind them, also in P6. Ramsell in P7 with Gowan in P8, Langley P9, Aberdeen P10 with Varga in P11, De Bont in P12 with Leach now 13th, Skunky in 14th and Millington in 15th, Flop in 16th, Tipping 17th, 18th is Archer, Cherrymore 19th with Marston in 20th, Smith 21st with Keynes 22nd, Hovrath in 23rd with Stardog in 24th, Bell for 25th, Taylor 26th with Hoffner in 27th, Storick in 28th with Cox 29th, Cummings in 30th, Johnson 31st, Best in 32nd, Williams 33rd, Raiden 34th, and Wheel in the final position of 35th. Regarding your team's championship, it is now down to 3. SimPlay Racing lead the way with a 22-point gap over Team GBR. They only gained a handful of points there, but it's enough to put them ahead of Dapper as well in P3. They're still mathematically in it, but unlikely to win the title. Then we've got Team RM with Quantum in P5, Greasy Bandits in P6, Team Piston Pounders in P7, Ballbusters in P8. 9 is a CGD team, which can be passed by Lexi's Industry. They can take the 9th place position away from them, as Road Run Motorsport in 11th. 12th is Blunt Force Racing, Soldal Racing in 13th, with Team Autosport in 14th. 15th is G&D Racing, 2Cs Motorsport, 2Cs Racing, sorry, in 16th. Apex in 17th. 18th is Team FBR and OGR. Rounding off the order here, and Lexi, we are underway here for the second qualifying session, and a shortened one. Obviously, that's how we've been running it this season. It's all do or die right to the very end, isn't it?
Forever will be at the end of the day, and now you go again. It is going to be every single chance that you get, but it's a lot shorter now, so you gotta make it last. This is your chance to put your stamp on history and be in the record books. It is time, one more time, and it's Matthew Duffin who sets a benchmark, 1:35.067. Rob Ramsell just behind him. It's then going to be Kyle. It's then going to be O'Reilly who will go P2 pole. It's going to be Flop P3 at the current moment. That's going to be P4 as McGowan goes P number 2. 0.434 off the top time. But now, Dan, where is he going to be out? Where is good old De Bont? Because he, of course, could look to go for a grand slam here tonight if he gets pole in all three qualifying and wins all 3 races. But to do that, he's got to keep it on a roll, and he's got to get pole again.
Well, he won't get it anyway because he wasn't on pole last time.
Oh yeah, my bad. My bad.
A little bit eager there, I think, Lexi. But either way, he could get all 3 race wins. That's probably more likely.
That's a grand slam. That's a grand slam at least. Who wouldn't love a grand slam? As he is going to go to the line, and it was invalidated.
Yeah, he's probably got 2 more runs at this as few of the guys get themselves ready to go to set another lap. Leach comes to the line, he gets a lap time on the board, more importantly, so that's something for him, as a lot of these guys are just messing up their runs at the minute and just becoming invalidated, which doesn't help at all as we come to the end of that lap for Stardog, and no lap time on the board for him. But Skunky, though, sets the pole with a 34.0. Hello! Where's Skunky been hiding this pace? As he was obviously hiding in the pit lane, but he's looking rapid at the minute. Ramsell to the line, only 8th. Millington, Millington improved there, I think. he did. No, he didn't. It was Flop who improved. Sorry, Flop in making an improvement there. As it is Skunky from O'Reilly, from McGowan, from Langley at this moment in time.
Indeed it is, and that is a good improvement across the board. Skunky hiding it under the hood apparently. Someone might want to check it. Inspector Seb style, Brazil. Trying not to get a fine, as right now Langley going to head round these corners and into Goodars. P number 4 currently 0.763 off the top time. O'Reilly is 0.254 off Skunky. As you see, of course, the good old Quantum cars making their way through. Unfortunately not in the championship fight, but SimPlay once again. Matthew Duffin, P number 5, however, it's a lot closer this time because John Gooday's right behind him. So I think Team GBR is starting to come knocking, and there is the CGT Motorsport car of Langley in P number 5 to push down Duffin. So we have got 1 minute left on the clock, Dan, and it seems like it's all to play for, and some people are starting to show their cards.
They are indeed. The bump, meanwhile, did put a lap time on the board, only good enough for 4th, and that's the best he can do. Meanwhile, Stardog exits the final corner, and is down to the very last laps here, as Stardog now gets himself on the board. Whoever crosses the line now, this is pretty much it. Duffin, I think, is on an invalid lap, but he will cross the line to start another one. He will indeed, and Ramsell just behind him. He makes a slight improvement to go behind Agude, who is on a lap himself. And Darren Yeo needs to get himself up there. He hasn't. He's ended up in the pits as well. So Darren Yeo is not going to make an improvement. As we now look for the rest of the guys who come to the line. As O'Reilly gets within a 10th of Skunky. And no improvement from him there. He can't get ahead of him at this stage. As a lot of cars now coming into the final few corners. And one of them is Gude. He exits the final corner now. He will be the first one to complete a lap. Will it be an improvement? No, it is not. He stays in P7. Millington nab him, though, right at the end there. Is Langley on improvement? No, he's not. Now we look to Matt Wright. Is he on a lap time improvement? He does go to 11th, but he does not go up towards the top 10. Cherrymore now coming to the line, 15th for him. And just behind him is Varga, who crosses the line to put himself in P6, knocking Duffin further down.
Yeah, and quick correction for you, Dan. That was a slight improvement, but even bigger improvement for Skunky there. O'Reilly gained a 10th last lap, but Skunky's just gone and put it in the wall because he's got him P1. O'Reilly's going to have to find something mega out these final few corners. Skunky, where has he come from? He's really clicking with Donington apparently. But we've got Dapper Racing, we've got Carlo, we've got O'Reilly. And it's now going to go through Goodars. I've been watching too much wrestling. And now through the left-hander and going into the line here. It's going to be an improvement for O'Reilly. Where will he go across this evening? He will stay where he sits in the triple free fishbowl. And that is going to be as it is. As McGowan gets a better improvement, that puts him to P number 2, putting O'Reilly on this second row for the first time in several races, I believe, Dan.
It's an all greasy front row. McGowan and Skunky locking the front row. What a qualifying session for those two. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. But a great qualifying session there for those two. And Skunky saying he's been away. He's not been really loving the game no more. Has really put the pace on here and has put himself to the top. What a lap there from Skunky. Brilliant. And it's nice to see him back to his top form once again.
Indeed it is. And it's got very, very, very dark all of a sudden. Hello.
We are into the evening stint now. This is an evening race, and that is how dark it's got. A quick 20-minute race. So, and with the dark cloud as well, we are really going to be in for an interesting one here. Once again, Lexi, will you run us through the grid order while we get our predictions up on the screen?
Why, of course I can. So, going through your grid order tonight, it is Skunky P1 and McGowan P2. Out of nowhere, a Greasy Bandits lockout. It is a Greasy Bandits racing team on the front row with O'Reilly, the champion, signed P number 3, with Matthew Duffin in P number 4 alongside. Send the Bun and Langley to round out the third row, P5 and 6 respectively. Fourth row, Varga and Ramsell, then Millington and John Goodey rounding out the top 10. It's then going to be Flop, Right, Keynes, Leach, Stardog, Yo, Cherrymore, Rob Smith, Marsden, and Tipping will round out the top 20 for Team Piston Pandas. You've then got Aberdeen, Archer, and Ian Best. So that is where it sits. Team Piston Pandas side by side where they currently stand, and they are the only team apart. And that, yeah, only 2 teams side by side. Those, so Piston Pandas and of course, which I just said, Greasy Bandits. So it is an interesting one, Dan, as the headlights are on and the formation lap is underway.
They are indeed, and a few guys in the chat, Club was saying, come on, Skunky, and Mike Matthews saying, outstanding time from Skunky. The only one to get into the 33s, so phenomenal job from him. Guys, make sure you put your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. Like I said, an all Greasy Bandits front row, and a great job from those guys. Great times, top 2. I believe McGowan just nearly snuck into the top, into the 33s. Quick look at the times. Did he do so? I think he was just on the cuffs. Yes, he was. So not quite the 33s, but Skunky showing what he can do when he has a little bit of a break, as Chris in the chat saying Duffin for the win. Duffin, more importantly, has got himself in the good points position. Both Ramsell and Duffin are outscoring Goudet at the minute, but anything can happen in this race, and we'll see what will happen as we go into race number 2. Lexi, I didn't do this for race number 1. I'm going to do it for race number 2, though.
Dear God.
Prediction for race winner?
Oh, no. You know what? I'm going to roll with the chat. I'm going Skunky.
You're going to go with Skunky. Ooh, okay. I'm going to go... I'm going to go McGowan on this one. I'm going to go McGowan.
Oh, Dan's going for the outlier this week. Oh,
well,
that's different.
He's been there, the top. He's been up there with the top pace with the guys. He's been pretty consistent in these Genettas all season. I think McGowan's one to keep an eye on. I really do, and I think Skunky, with a little bit less practice, has not really. He's got the pace, but will he be able to fight his own teammate off? We'll see. But either way, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified if you want to be at the part of the action next season. Then make sure you have a look at our Discord and our sim grid. There will be fun events coming up, and the fun events will be explained a little bit later on. Hopefully I can do it in the next free practice session. But we are about to go 2 by 2, and as we've done all season long with our 2 commentators, I start the first one, and Lexi, it is down to you. We get racing here for race number 2. Lexi, take it over.
Under the flight path of the East Midlands Airport and 20-minute walk south of Derby. There is no greater place under the night and the cloudy sky of Britain than Donington Park for a penultimate round and a penultimate race of a season. As the formation lap comes to an end, all the drivers will go double file. It's a greasy lockout front row, the 302 and the 664. The reigning champion and this season's champion sits behind. All the eyes will now go to the gantry lights for the penultimate time at Donington. Great flag drops, we are racing! An amazing start by Skunky, safe for McGowan, who is now going to look for the outside down in turn number 1. O'Reilly look for a place to slide, which he will do on the inside. Going to go wheel to wheel wide there with McGowan. Going to go through and down into Cranner curves. And he's now going to hold on to it as they head through turn 1, head through turn 2. They are going at it, so is the fun. He's fighting his way through this field, almost making contact up and under base. You see a car off in the background, and the old hairpin on the entry. And this is what it is all. You see the yellow, about 3, 4 or 5 cars caught up in that. And you see the voice breaking, you see Duffin behind. Dan, what happened in the background? Do you have any information? Because these drivers are having an absolute fight on lap 1 as we head down through Coppice as John Goudet gets the move on Millington.
Yeah, the little bit of contact from Varga and Langley, that caused him going down the Craner curves, and Langley had to go straight onto the dirt, and obviously he could not slow it down, back end turn around, and he lost it all on his own. But the slight contact with him, no, as the 2 Quantum Motorsport guys got mugged there by Goudet as they now look towards the front, and it is still Skunky leading the way, ahead of O'Reilly, ahead of DeBont. Now Skunky's got his hands full with those 2 behind him. McGowan not having the start he would have wanted. He's got the 2 SimPlay Racing cars behind him, but further back is Goudet, who's trying to hunt them down. They got Varga just behind them, and then you've got the two Quantum drivers just behind them as well. As we head up towards the hairpin of Goddard's, and just around the outside is Cranes looking to make his move on Yo, and Yo is trying to work his way up the order, but relatively clean and good so far. Other than further back, we had contact with Marsden, Best, and I think Tipping as well. Archer, most of the guys at the back of the pack having a coming together. But DeBont, the fastest lap of the race, a brilliant start. Skunky doesn't need much practice, we'll see, says Hibbs in chat. And a great start from Skunky indeed. He needs to make sure he just disappears, as O'Reilly does have that 40 kilos on board. But once again, Goudet is stuck behind Varga for a second race.
Yep, it seems like those two are stuck together like a combination of butter and bread. But right now, they are holding on to it. And I will just say this, Matthew Duffin or Bransall back aside each other. So SimPlay is right there. They've also got Quantum right behind. So Soda and GBR may want to be careful, because of course, even though the separate teams under one umbrella, could we see Quantum do some play here to help out SimPlay? We're about to find out, as it is about as Millington and Wright are slowly closing in on John Goudet and Benedict Varga. The more that those two fight, the more that the yellow blue cars are gonna close in. They are lurking in the night, in the darkness, and they are getting ready to do this. It's 17-degree track, 17% ambient, optimum track surface, and it's fully overcast. As down into the hairpin, you see something going on there. It looked like it was with Flop or somebody else. As I try to move to where it is, it looks like Langley just got overtaken by, I believe, Stardog.
Not quite. It looks like he was trying to make a move on Cherrymore, but meanwhile O'Reilly setting fastest lap of the race, but he's got Skunky right behind him, but he's got more of the pressure of DeBont right behind him. Sorry, Skunky leading the way, but DeBont is giving pressure to O'Reilly once again, and that's allowing Skunky just to extend the gap. Meanwhile, Duffin and Ramsell in a comfortable P5 and 6 with Varga kind of like their buffer at the minute. And really, the Quantum boys shouldn't really be helping the SimPlay boys, even though they are under the same stable. They are running their own race, and I'm pretty sure they will be. They will not care about the championship, and they will only care about their own race.
Oh! Very close. Sorry to cut you off there, Dan. Wheel to wheel, side by side between these two.
Are we on board with him now, Langley?
What?
Oh, what car's off there? That is Flop.
That's Smith.
That's Smith, yeah.
He just went on the grass through Starkleys Bridge, and car just threw itself off the course. That is the weirdest off-track I've seen around this circuit this evening. What?
Very strange indeed, as we go into the final sector now, and these guys are pushing as hard as they can. Leach getting close to the back of Flop, and they're all close to the back of Matt Wright. Millington having a good little drive here, keeping Matt Wright behind him, and he's been struggling in the pros, but obviously in these Ginetta has really been able to keep it with the top boys at times, has Millington, and he's doing so right now, splitting himself between Goudet and Wright. As we look back to the front, it is slowly becoming a four-way fight, as McGowan is trying his very best to creep onto the top three, as Skunky still defending off these guys, as McGowan now takes fastest lap of the race. And Duffin now becoming a little bit of a trolley train, because he's got Ramsell, Varga, Goudet, Millington, Wright, Flop, Leach, Yo, and Keynes all following one another there, as Archer there gets close to tipping but not able to get the job done. Actually, it's Aberdeen getting the job done on Archer, so Aberdeen moving up another position.
Yeah, I don't think Leach is very happy at the moment. He was just flashing his headlights at Flop for a second, so I don't know what was happening there. So maybe a little bit of anger, but other than that, these guys are going pretty tidy, I would say. There's a gap between P number 14 and 15, which really splits the grid in two, and then you've also got the gap between P number 5 and then P number 4. So the top 4 are starting to drive away with it. Big props to Skunky, by the way. He's held on to this. We're 5 minutes deep, and he is holding off both O'Reilly and DeBont. How long is that going to last, though? As they are going to wonder the exact same question. But it seems like it's a bit held up, because McGowan, he got overtaken on the opening lap, Dan. He's got the fastest lap at the moment, and he's now P4, and he is coming right onto the back of him. Greasy Bandits, I would say they're in for a good chance here.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Team GBR boys are struggling. Yo is stuck behind Leach, had a moment of an opportunity to go through, but he has not been able to find that gap at all. Varga, meanwhile, still holding up Goudet, and as the two SimPlay Racing boys outscore him at the minute, it's all what they need to do. Meanwhile, what's saving Skunky at this moment in time is the fact that DeBont is giving O'Reilly such a hard time. It's really difficult for O'Reilly to focus purely on Skunky when he has to look in his rear view, but he's doing a phenomenal job of it. Meanwhile, Best is sticking to the back of Marsden towards the back of the pack and really giving him a hard time as well. You've got the two piston pounders guys close to one another, and Cherrymore now leading the bronze class and is trying to hold off Stardog just behind him. But Yo just off the pace at the minute, not able to really capitalize on Leach's run at the minute, but Goudet had a great run through McLean's and is right on the back bumper of Varga. One mistake from Varga and that is it. He is going through, and Varga doing his best he can in the Soldor car. Meanwhile, DeBont once again brings the gap down to O'Reilly and Skunky, but it's not quite enough. McGowan makes a mistake, goes wide through the chicane, and I think his run on those guys have come to an end.
Fortunate there through those corners, but he's still got time. He can go again. Just got to keep a level head when it comes down to racing like this. You got John Godet in the background, you got Matthew Duffin in the background, you got Rob Ramsell in the background. Don't make too many mistakes, otherwise you will fall into that battle. We're approaching the halfway mark, and it is holding for the line at the moment, as it is a very, very, very long train at Goddard's, I will say. So it is Goddard's, and it's a nice little fight. Ramsell is leading it, and Matthew Duffin has got ahead. So the question is now, is Duffin going to start to get a run towards McGowan and then possibly get on the back of the leaders?
Duffin's been leading this group the entire time since the start of the race, so I don't really see that happening. Duffin's not really gone with McGowan. McGowan's making mistakes, but he's still fast enough just to drop the guys behind him. Meanwhile, DeBont is pretty much pushing O'Reilly up towards McLean's, and is he going to look up the inside? No, he does not, and he's going to then make a run up towards Coppice, but O'Reilly once again focusing purely on his rear views and not ahead, and that's just allowing Skunky to just drive away quite comfortably out in front, and McGowan still trying to go with those guys. Duffin holding up this train, but Goudet has a slide through Coppice, and that's going to allow the Quantum boys to get closer, but not quite close enough at this moment in time. Everyone else though seems to be in a nice little train. There's a car off, and it is Best, and he's returned back to pit lane.
Yeah, so I think that is that maybe the first RTG here in the race in action. And there might have been one in the race one, if I remember correctly, but might not have been. So we'll wait and see if that is correct, as they do continue to head around this circuit. In about 30 seconds, we're at the halfway point of race number 2, the penultimate race of the season for the Whodarron Cup. Of course, big thank you to our sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport, and you know where to find them, and they're in the description of this video and the VOD. As they head into Redgate right now, SimPlay Racing, I would say they're doing a pretty good job, Dan. They've already got a decent lead in the championship for the teams, and they're extending that even more because they're keeping the rest of the Team GBR boys behind.
It's not all done yet as they get to the halfway stage of this race, but anything can still happen at this time, Lexi. But yeah, it is looking good for SimPlay Racing. It just takes one mistake. Punches are quite often here as well. You put the tyre pressures too low and you run the curbs quite a lot here. The pressures do go off very, very quickly, and it just takes Ramsell or Duffin just to make one silly error, and all their hard work is done, and GBR are back in the fight. Dapper really ain't going to be scoring much, especially with Cranes down in that P14 place position, and actually dropping into the clutches of Langley and not Cherrymore. That is Langley and is that Flop? I believe it is Flop. Yeah, so Flop's made a mistake. He has dropped to the I'm trying to think is it Smith or Flop, but it is Flop. So he's dropped behind those guys and is now racing Langley. So that's going to be a close fight with him. Once again, O'Reilly and Skunky just seems to be ebbing and flowing between one another, and McGowan just in no man's land at the moment in time. And again, just everyone a little bit stale at the minute, other than Darren Yo, who has gone and got past Gary Leach. That's another position gained for the Team GBR boys, and Leach looking stronger around the outside of Goddard's, but not going to get the job done there, and tries to get a better exit, heading up towards turn number 1. And Leach looking to the outside. He's not going to get the job done there. Is he going to do touring car style? Ash Sutton up the inside. He's not quite close enough. And Yo will fend him off this time round. And now his next target is Millington. So Matt Wright and Millington have swapped positions. And now they are holding off the top 10 positions at the moment. DeBont once again gets close to O'Reilly as they've dropped well off the back of Skunky, who's now 1.2 ahead.
Yeah, as Varga and John Goday are going at this as well, going it now through into McLean's and then towards Coppice as well. So that's where those two are saying. Going to look for an inside now down into Coppice. Maybe if he gets the inside line, it's usually done and dusted. Oh, contact between the two, and round goes John Goday, and he goes into the grass, and it will be Matt Wright and Millington who will fly through, as I believe a drive-through penalty for the Bond.
Indeed, indeed. DeBont gets a drive-through penalty, pushing the track limits through the chicane. O'Reilly is now released and free to try and chase Skunky, who now has fastest lap of the race. So Skunky still has pace in that car. But once again, the championship... Oh, and there, Darren Yo comes together with Matt Wright. Yo goes off and into the gravel, having to wait for the entire pack to come through. But Darren Yo there ending up dropping down the order, and that is going the way of SimPlay Racing now, as Skunky and O'Reilly now battled it out for the last 7 minutes for the win. Meanwhile, McGowan is in a solid P3 at the minute, while Duffin still ahead of Ramsell, ahead of now Millington, Leach, Wright and Cranes. P11 is Flop with Goudet in P12, Varga P13, Langley 14th, and Yo now in 15th place position.
Yeah, well, hold on to that. Hold on to your horses for just a second, Mr. Bond is right in the thick of this second pack that we were watching. He is now making his way through as the timing finally catches up to it. Langler sat behind, so he was fighting Benedict Varga there as they now head through Starkley's Bridge. The Bond is going to look for outside line. He's going to get very, very tight. That is a very slow Quantum car, and that is, who is
Millington.
That is Millington. So something happened to him.
Possibly so, not sure. We were watching the same fight as you. We were watching DeBont and Varga, and DeBont has got the job done. One car cleared, now on to the next one as they move towards, heading towards the back of Goudet. But yeah, really a bad luck there for the Team GBR boys. Both of them caught up in an incident, and both of them dropping down the order. Flop now ahead of Goudet. It's Cranes and Leach and Wright ahead of this pack. And the SimPlay Racing boys have pulled well away from him now. And DeBont having to go defensive as Varga tries to attack him into Melbourne Hairpin, but is not going to get the job done there. And DeBont is well experienced enough to know that Varga was going to try and do something on exit. Is he going to try and send it into the final corner? No, he's not, because DeBont goes wide enough to send it into the corner and give Varga enough braking room.
Yeah, as I'm on replay right now, trying to catch what happened here. Seems like it's down into Old Hairpin. Oh, no, it's just Millington just ends up at Old Hairpin, sending it in way too hot. And he just goes straight onto the grass. Caught out by that was the 313 as well. So that's just a mistake down into Old Hairpin for Millington, which ended up getting him right in, which put him wrong place, wrong time when the Bont and crew came through.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm on board with Goudet and Flop. They're having a great little scrap. Goudet looked to the outside, can't get the job done there. Tries to go up the inside of McLean's on the exit, but not a good enough exit from him. So Flop is going to hang in there at the minute for that P9 position, and John needs to get as many points as he possibly can. But right now, Flop is really defending hard here and really making Goudet work hard for it. He's going to try and outbrake him into the chicane. No, he's not, but Flop is going to go too deep. Goudet could have come back up the inside of him, but he's not going to. They now head to the outside and going towards Melbourne Hairpin. Meanwhile, ahead of him, Keynes is attacking Wright and Wright and Leach, as now DeBont has turned up onto the scene.
Right onto the scene and right into the fight. So now, how is this going to fare up between these drivers? Two of the drivers, that of course being Martin and Smith, had moments. One of them had turn one. DeBont is going to send it in deep at the hairpin as well. And now onto the main straight as you go down Wheatcroft. And it is up against them one more time. And it seems like they're just going to sit where they are for the time being. Don't want to push it really. until the final lap. You want to play your cards safe to your chest. But at the moment, it seems like it's nice and tidy as they are making their way through. I will say this though, Dan. He's on a roll at the moment, and he's on track to win unless something happens with O'Reilly. 3:25 left on the clock, and Skunky still leads this.
He does indeed, and Skunky a couple of seasons ago back in the Pro was a force to be reckoned with in his Ferrari, going up against myself in the Lexus, and the guy was absolutely rapid back in the day. He obviously just has been struggling in a few seasons and seemed to have lost the love for ACC, but at the minute in this Ginetta racing with O'Reilly, he seems to be having an absolute blast at the moment.
A blast to the past, but in the present instead. It is this time for this time only, and it seems like it's going to stay where it is. John Godet has flopped as at a moment. He's lost 2 positions here. Now down into the chicane, is he going to end up losing another one? Because here comes Varga going to follow through. Very much over the curb, bouncing the car about a little bit. Here comes Varga now. He's going to be on the outside at down into Melbourne. May look for an up and under, but the inside line is going to be held by Flop. He's going to plan his car then. There, and he's going to hold on to the position. So Flop seemingly losing a bit of, possibly losing a bit of concentration there and losing out on those positions.
Possibly so, but meanwhile ahead of this is Matt Wright holding off Leach, holding off Keynes. And again, if these guys come together, Goudet is in the opportunity to capitalize on that, but he's got De Bont for company right behind him, part of the Greasy Bandits band as well. But De Bont obviously wants to have a good night's worth of racing as Leach looks to the inside of Matt Wright, could not get the job done there, and Matt Wright holding him off. O'Reilly meanwhile has got the gap down, but Skunky seems to be well in control of this race at the moment. The two SimPlay boys in control of the P4-5 positions, but Leach, and Matt Wright gets onto the curb and onto the dirt, and off he goes, spearing off into the right, and that's going to allow a load of drivers through. Matt Wright though losing out there. He has got going, but that's going to dropping well down the pack just ahead of Stardog, and I think Stardog might get him on the exit of Coppice there, and a bad luck there for Matt Wright. But it's definitely still heating up between these guys towards the final few positions, as De Bont really giving Goudet a hard time now.
Yeah, as Varga was fighting there with Langley, however he sent it very hot into the S's, and now it's going to hold up Millington as here comes Yo, going to look for the inside line. Don't go 3 wide, lads, and that's going to send Millington out, and it got very interesting there for a moment. Yo goes through, Millington got the bad side of it, and he is now down into P number 14. What on earth happened there? It's going to be a replay scene, I would say. But one more time around this circuit, it is the white flag now, and the final lap. Skunky with the fastest lap. It's not a Greasy Bandits 1-2, but it looks to be a Greasy Bandits 1-3 at this current pace. Out of nowhere in qualifying, Skunky came into the limelight. So did his teammate McGowan, and it is now this time through the S's in the penultimate race of this season. He has put the 302 in an absolute drive tonight, and one more time through Melbourne and then through Goddard. So now here we go. It is this man. It is the GT4 driver. It is the Ginetta driver, just like the rest, but the one who is on top here in race number 2. He is held off O'Reilly, possibly out by ballast, but mainly by his own driving. The bomb was in there before he had a moment later in this race. But around the final corner, Skunky returns to form, and he will win race number 2 of the season finale. And it is O'Reilly P2, and McGowan is now going to come round Goddard's to come P3. Langley picked up a driver on that final lap, and you've got Matthew Duffin and Ramsell side by side, coming through the final corner, but they now switch positions, it seems, and it is going to be Ramsell P4, Duffin P5. For a second there, Dan, I thought they were going to go formation all the way home, but we got plenty more drivers to come through the grid.
Yeah, we got Leach in P6, Cranes in P7, Goudet in the end P8, P9 for De Bont, Flop with P10. Langley's got 30 plus seconds for the dry food that he did not serve. Varga, Yo, Millington, Wright, Stardog, then it's Cherrymore, Aberdeen, and then tipping in P19. Then it's going to be Archer for P20, Marsden P21, 22nd will be Smith, and Best in 23rd. But Skunky gets a win on the boards. It's been a while, but he has managed to do so. Fantastic job from him. We're going to go to another quick break, and we have the third and final race of the season. Guys, don't go nowhere, and we'll be back in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and final qualifying session of the championship, and it has come down to this. Tips in the chat. And class 1 already really wanted that for Aaron. So congratulations to Tips in winning the bronze class there. I believe he is. If I look at the tables. Is he leading that? Yes, he is ahead of Archer. So Tips will end up being your bronze class winner. Silver, meanwhile, is still on a fight at the minute between Goudet and Matt Wright. There's only 21 points separating them, so that is still all to play for. And obviously, gold has been done by O'Reilly. But more importantly, though, Lexi, regarding the team's championship, it's still down to 3. Dapper are hanging in there by the skin of their teeth, but really not good. Unless SimPlay and GBR don't turn up or get disconnected, they aren't going to win this. But they are still mathematically in it, but it is down to 51 points between SimPlay Racing and GBR. So it's tight.
It's tight, but from what we've seen so far tonight, it looks like it's going to go the way of SimPlay, but never say never. But the first qualifying laps are going to get on the way here, Dan. I know I'm gonna throw it to you now. Predictions for qualifying.
Skunky for pole. Skunky for pole.
Copying my idea from race number 2. How dare you?
Do you know what? I actually do miss the old Skunky. Like I said, I raced him a couple of seasons ago in Alexis, and we had an awesome season. And it's so good to see him back at his best. But we are got the last qualifying session of the season. I've gone Skunky. Who are you going for?
Honestly, call me crazy. I'm going Matt Wright.
Matt Wright for pole. That is a bold choice nonetheless. Matt Wright, I love you, buddy, but I think with the pace of O'Reilly, Skunky, DeBont, and even McGowan, I think he's going to struggle to see the top 4. Langley also with some decent pace, but we'll see how it goes. Regarding the championship order, it looks like this. O'Reilly leads the way with Duffin in second, Friedman in third, and those 3 are now secure in those positions. Yo in P4 and is just ahead of Goudet. Those guys are tight, and Matt Wright is just behind them as well. So one final swing could happen there to round out the top 6. McGowan in P7, Ramsell in P8, with Langley P9, Aberdeen P10, Varga P11, DeBont P12, Skunky in 13th, Leach 14th, Millington 15th, Flop in 16th. Tipping, rounding out the season with the bronze win in 17th place position, ahead of Archer, ahead of Cherry Moore. Then it's Marsden in 20th, Smith in 21st, Keynes in 22nd, Stardog 23rd, Hovnath in 24th, with Bell 25th, Taylor 26th, Hoffner 27th, Sturrock 28th, Cox in 29th, Cummings 30th, Johnson 31st, Best 32nd, Williams, and then Raiden rounding off the top 34. And then the teams, SimPlay Racing ahead of GBR, ahead of Dapper, all those 3 still mathematically in it, as Quantum now goes ahead of Team RRM, with Greasy Bandits in P6. And they're not far off back of RRM as well. Team Piston Pounders in P7, Ballbusters in 8, P9 is C GTT Motorsport, and they will be passed by Lexi's Industries if they finish ahead in this one, which knows Tordock anyway, so it should be done for that one as well. Roadrunners in P11, Blunt Force in P12, Soldor in P13, Team Autosport in 14th, 15th is G&D Racing, 2Cs Racing in 16th, 17th is Apex, 18th is FBR, and OGR in 19th place position. First lap's coming in, and it is Keynes who sets the pace early on here, going to the top with Duffin not setting a lap time on the board, nor has O'Reilly, and nor has Skunky either. So all these guys still not to put a lap time on the board, but Stardog now comes to the line, and we'll see what lap time he can produce with Aberdeen right behind him. To the line goes Stardog, and Aberdeen not able to put a lap time on the board.
Oh, no lap time on the board yet, but here comes Skunky. He is going round this circuit as it does currently stand. I believe he's invalidated though, unless he's only just on his first lap. So that is what's happening for him. We got Langley out there, we got Millington out there. Millington was a bit slower moving out the way on his last lap time, so it could be on a fast one now from what we're seeing. But as you said, McGowan is up there. Dan, you know what? Could we see another Greasy Bandits one too?
We possibly could. I think they need, once again, need to get into those 33s. The Bont now comes to the line, and no lap time from him either. Cranes doesn't improve either, so Varga to the line. Is Varga going to improve on P7? No, he's not. O'Reilly to the line. He goes P2 with that one, and just behind him goes Flop to P5. So it seems like these guys just seem to be struggling at this stage of this session. Yo in P7 ahead of Millington now, and Matt Wright. As Garrett Each comes to the line, and no, there is a lap time, but he's only gone 12 for that one.
Oh, unlucky. So that's how it currently sits, and a few more drivers to make their way around. 1 minute left on the clock. However, Dan, look at it. Less than a 10 between McGowan and O'Reilly. So one mistake or 1/10 of improvement at any point in this circuit, it's gonna be a switch between those two, because both of them on absolute flyers right up there.
They are indeed. Meanwhile, Stardog and Aberdeen to the line. Still no lap time from Aberdeen, as Duffin will now come to the line next. Still no lap time from him either, so this is really do or die. Puts him 5th in the end, and McGowan improves on his lap time, does a 34.4, as Ramsell only stays P7, allowing McGowan through. Probably a cleverer idea to do that, as Kane's now coming into the final sector as well. De Bont only 16th at the minute, as Yo crosses the line. He can only do 8th, and Goudet goes 4th now ahead of Duffin. De Bont, meanwhile, still no improvement, as Crane stays in P3. Here comes O'Reilly. Can he nab pole position away? He can, and gets one more lap out of it as well. Flop now goes to P4 as well. And coming to the line, Cherrymore. Where is that going to put him? He goes now P14. We now see improvement. Langley goes P5. Flop stays there. Millington with P3. What a lap from Millington. Where did he have that pace from? Matt Wright now going to 11th. A shocking lap there from Millington. Absolutely brilliant. As Skunky now comes to the line. What's this going to be? It is pole position. A 34.4 for him. 12 thousandths of a second separating O'Reilly, and 28 thousandths of a second separating the top 3. Now we look to, I believe Duffin is on a lap, and in the final corner now is a car of some form. It is Aberdeen, who's hanging it sideways out the final corner there, and he goes P18.
Yeah, McGowan coming down to the final hairpin now of Goddard, and he does have a car in front of him now through the left-hander. He's only 28. He's only 28 behind. Can he go even further? Yes, he can. It's 1-2 for Greasy Bandits racing again. But the question is, does O'Reilly have a call to answer? Through Melbourne now, down to Goddard's. It is one more time for him. His last chance this season to take a pole position. Can he dethrone the Greasy Bandits? Will he make it so the front row ain't as greasy? O'Reilly to the line. Yes, he will. P number 2 misses out on pole, but splits the GBRs, and that is how it sits, Dan.
It is indeed. O'Reilly, for the final time, splits the Greasy Bandits, but it's McGowan who's going to end the season on a high in qualifying session. He takes pole. There's me saying Skunky. There was Alexi saying Matt Wright. Neither of them took pole. It was McGowan, and the Greasy Bandits drivers looking so good to the end of this season. Where have they been all season? Because that was phenomenal from then. For the final time this season, Lexi, please run us through the grid as I get our final time for our predictions for our race win.
I would if I hadn't just disconnected. Got a love series, S.
Brilliant.
Well, it is. Got a love series. S. Don't you love it? I shall go through the grid order once I'm in the game.
Well, either way, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified. Make sure you keep an eye on the Discord as well for fun events that are coming up very, very soon. And with the chance of actually Lexi getting back in, we have got 2 fun events in planning. We do plan to have maybe a 4 to 5 week break is what we're looking at, possibly a 4 to try and make sure we make Christmas in good time. But the fun events, we have a Porsche fun event where it's going to be a GT2 Porsches, GT3 Porsches, and the Super Cup Porsches, all available to you to drive, and we'll be racing at the Red Bull Ring for that fun event. Porsches all round. Then we are going to have the 6 hours of Watkins Glen endurance race as well for the off season, so make sure you tune in for that one as well. And then for the final fun event, we will do the Classic Cars event. The OG cars, you cannot have Evolution versions, and the Lexus is banned, so you cannot use that either. So it is the old versions. You can have the 650S McLaren, you can have the old V12, or is it V8? I think it's the V12 Aston Martin. You can have the old Ferrari 488 as well, and the old Porsche 9912 as well. All those cars are available as well. Is Lexi back with us in the chat and in the team, in the server?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, and I am back, and this is how your grid lines up. McGowan lines up on pole position with O'Reilly, P number 2. Greasy Bandits being dethroned there for a front row lockout, but Skunky still sits P number 3. Then the Bond, Millington, Keynes, Langley, Duffin, Gooday, Flop, Yo, Ramsell, Wright, Varga, Leach, Cherrymore, Aberdeen, Smith, Marsden, Tipping, Archer, Best, Blux, and Stardog will have a pit lane start, as I believe he forgot to click drive, and apparently I have ballast, but apparently Dan does not.
Do I not? I'm in the Lexus. I should have like no weight at all. Oh yeah, I don't. I have minus 34 kilos. Minus 34 kilos. Good old Lexus.
Yeah, you got minus 34 kilos. I got plus 17 kilos. Where the heck did those 17 kilos come from? I swear I've been eating good this season. Anyway, Greasy Bandits. It is going to be McGowan. Dan, let's do this again. Predictions for this race.
O'Reilly.
I'm gonna go McGowan. I've gone one.
Well, Skunky's winning then. Skunky's winning this race.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, coming to the end of this night as well, Lexi, we're going to do driver of the day, and we're also going to do driver of the season. So we'll be obviously asking those questions a little bit later on as well. But either way, we're going to get ourselves ready for the final time. And for the final time this season, Lexi, I will hand the honours to you. You can round off the season here at Donington Park.
Oh, yay! Yay! So one more time for this season. As the formation lap comes to an end, all these drivers will go double file. Named after the late Aaron, it is the Whodarron Cup. It is the GT4 Ginettas. Right hand side of the car is where your wheels at, even though a lot of people may drive bonnet. But as they come round at the final Goddard's hairpin, they will look towards Redgate and towards the gantry lights for the final time this season. The green flag draws. We are racing the Goddard. We got a drive-through penalty off the star line. So there goes our prediction. But now you've got to wonder, how is that?
O'Reilly's wide.
O'Reilly's gone off into the grass. And Skunky is going to be right there with him. De Bon's also there. De Bon is on an absolute drive. So is Sid Millington. And these guys are going at it wheel to wheel. And Skunky leads this race. De Bon is there. Millington's there. Kane's in there. Big contact. Millington goes off. He made contact with Kane's old hairpin. In the final race of the season, it's all kicked off. And this is absolutely amazing racing. And it's what? What? Dan, you gotta take it.
Basically, where we predicted the top two is now Skunky, we said, would lead this race, and he is. Is now ahead of De Bond, who was down in the pack. He's now up into second, and he's going to be hunting them down. Meanwhile, Duffing is attacking McGowan at the minute, and he really doesn't want to be doing that too much. He's got Langley just behind him, Flop as well, and Goudet losing out. Ramsell did as well, and Kane's there. Matt Wright on the move, as is O'Reilly. Yo also sticking to the back of the pack, and Leach also trying to work his way up the order. Meanwhile, further down, Goudet does get the job done on Flop. and moves up a position. His next target will be Langley, but Flop is still fighting this off though. He had a better exit, and down the inside he goes, and Goudet though is going to switch back underneath. McGowan straight to the pits to do his drive through as they get close to one another. Goudet though really taking the fight to Flop. They're getting really close. They brush doors, and to turn one they go, and Flop, is he going to hold on to the position? He goes a bit deep, and Goudet will swoop underneath, and that allows Ramsels to also look up the inside as they head towards down the crane the curves, and off goes Flop. Ouch.
Oh my, what on earth is happening at Chronic Curves tonight? Oh my god.
That's allowed also Cranes and O'Reilly to get past Ramsel, and Ramsel now got Matt Wright for company back to the front. Meanwhile, Skunky is not in the lead. He's dropped down. So it's now De Bont who leads the final race here, and Skunky's dropped to second. Duffin now third. Langley's gone off now, and through goes Goudet. So Goudet's now into the top four.
I'm just gonna put this out there. John Goudet might have tapped him off the road.
Tap 2 off the road. Langley?
Oh. Yeah, John Goudet might have tapped Langley off the road.
Leach gets very close to the back of Wright, and Langley, Wright and Ramsel all close. Wright has to go straight on, and Leach will gain a position out of that one. He's now attacking Langley because he's had a bad exit. Meanwhile, the two Dapper cars are close to one another. Yo's in the middle of all this scrap as well. God, it's getting tasty towards the end of this season as De Bont is leading away, but Skunky fast lap of the race with Duffin just behind them. But Goudet's got a big challenge of keeping Goudet and Cranes behind him. O'Reilly, behind him. Drama here for the final race as Langley has got an enormous train behind him.
The gloves have come off apparently in this final race, which is a way to end the season, but it's De Bont who leads, followed by Skunky, then Matthew Duffin. You got John Goudet there with O'Reilly behind as well, who's now going to look for it through Chronic Curves, and it's going to be up and through on the right hand side. He wants that inside line. Is he going to get it wheel to wheel, side by side with the GBR car? And he will get it done. Lovely, jubbly, sound as a pound, and it is up into P number 4 as you got Keynes also there. Going to go underneath as we head through Starkleys Bridge. May look for an up and under into McLean's, and it is going to not be the move done for the time being. John Goudet with a good defence. Ramsel in the background looking to get the move done. Langley finding his way back through. He's got Leach behind him with Yo, Varga and Matt Wright as well. Aberdeen making his way through, as well as Archer. And then of course you had the drivers Flop of course going off and into the barrier. His hood's a little bit up as they went through Chronic Curves and he went into the barrier. But of course you had the Greasy Bandits racing cars have their moments. McGowan with the drive through, he's now down in P number 20, and the leader who was up there, of course he's fallen down and he is now P number 2. So he didn't fall down too far, but that's put De Bont in front of him, and De Bont has the fastest lap.
De Bont does have the fastest lap, but Skunky is keeping him honest and is staying with him. Duffin, meanwhile, has just dropped off the pace, and O'Reilly, considering he got shoved off at turn number 1, not really shoved off, but he went wide at turn number 1. He is still relatively close to the leaders as Darren Yeo has returned to pit lane, and that is him done for the season, I think, as Goudet in P5. And I think with Yeo in pit lane and done, that will hand SimPlay Racing the championship for the constructors. And even Dapper that high up as well, they might be able to gain some points if John has a bad round on the rest of this race. So it is still all close and still to play for, but De Bont leading the way, and everyone else in relatively good order at the minute. Meanwhile, Matt Wright has a run on Varga coming up towards the top of McLean's. Can he send up the inside? He's not quite close enough, and Aberdeen gets close to the back of him.
Right on the back of him, and now trying to go through all these corners. How is it going to fare between them? We will wait and see, as here comes Ked onto the SimPlay straight. Here in SimPlay it's known as that, otherwise it's known as the Starkleys straight. Down into the braking zone, into the S's, into the chicane AKA, and that is no move done either for the time being. We're 6 minutes deep, and there is yellow at the end, and that is down and through McLean's area. That is going to be Rob Smith and Tipping who were caught up in that. One other driver as well seemingly caught up in it.
Best, I think, and the Best got front end damage as well. So Best has got a little bit of damage to his car, but it's all still line astern as Skunky sets fastest lap of the race and sets to hunt down De Bont for the final win of the season. He takes the final fastest lap, and O'Reilly now trying to hunt down Duffin as best he possibly can, but is not quite close enough at the minute. Goudet, though, still defending off Cranes, and then you've got Ramsel hunting them down as well.
And hunting them down, they will continue to do so. How is this going to fare up in the 13 minutes left to go? As unlucky for some it may be, and it is the 13th round, so who knows? Final 13 minutes of the season, and in the 13th round, what could go wrong? As it is now going to be heading through the left-hander into the right-hander. And once again, everybody's just sitting line astern, and that is going to be nice and clean.
Not quite, because Cranes, is looking on a move on Goudet. He gets relatively close, as is Skunky as well. He's pressurising De Bont to the very end, and O'Reilly's attacking Duffin. So you say it's all line astern. It's not for the top 6 positions, and Ramsel's now onto the back of Cranes and Goudet. So it is all still to play for right at the very end. Duffin goes very defensive on O'Reilly, and O'Reilly looks to the outside. Your top 2 drivers in the championship, and now Goudet defending from Cranes as well. He goes very wide. That's going to allow Ramsel to have a look up the inside, and then you've got everyone else stuck behind the Langley train. And it has been some great racing. McGowan, meanwhile, flies past Stardog, and another position gained for him as he works his way back to the front. But Skunky is absolutely flying at the minute.
Did somebody strap a jet engine on the back? Because that's the last time I saw this he was in pro, and now going to continue here. They got the battle going on. Ramsel continuously trying to get past Cairns, but it's nothing yet. He wants to get past John Goudet, even though it seems like it's secured. As here we go, it is going to be Ramsel looking for the attack, going through Crenna curves. And now down towards Old Hairpin. Cairns is going to be right there with him. They are still wheel to wheel, but is Rob going to back out of it? Yes, he will. Wants to keep his nose clean, and that's actually going to send Cairns deep. Big move on the exit, and that is actually going to give Ramsel the position. Pressure, seemingly coming through the cracks.
Yeah, Cranes there just went in too deep trying to hold on to the position, but either way, Varga meanwhile is up the inside of Langley, and Langley's going to go wide, touching the grass and the end of the curb, and contact there between himself and Matt Wright. Matt Wright goes across the board there and takes it out, and now he's going to get passed by Aberdeen, who's going to look to the outside of the corner. Meanwhile, De Bont is going incredibly defensive as Skunky's now on the attack, heading towards Melbourne Hairpin. Can he nab a win here? That is the question as he comes to the end. O'Reilly also pressurising Duffin right at the very end here, but cannot get the job done. Meanwhile, Langley is still defending heavily from Matt Wright earlier on, and they're not close enough at the minute. But Skunky, though, really wants a final win to the season.
He's absolutely soaring at that wheel, trying to get an up and under wherever he can. Now we're going to look for the outside line down into Redgate, possibly fly under towards Cranach Curves, but nothing yet. Still has to sit.
De Bont went wide. He went wide. He had a slide, and I think that's going to give Skunky a great run down the Crane of Curves. He's going to get close to the Old Hairpin. De Bont's going to have to look in his mirrors, and maybe he's going to make a mistake through Old Hairpin. He does. He slides, and Skunky not close enough at this stage to get the run, but he's already switched underneath. He's going to be on the outside of McLean's. He's not quite close enough here, but Skunky really racing hard against De Bont here. Skunky, where have you been hiding this racing, mate? Because you are flying.
Absolutely flying, honestly. You know what to say. You take somebody out of an area for some time, they come back and they absolutely dominate. I'm looking at
Duffin and O'Reilly, Duffin and O'Reilly side by side. O'Reilly did get the job momentarily done earlier on, but now they go wheel to wheel down the SimPlay straight, and towards the chicane they come, and O'Reilly losing out to Duffin, so momentarily did get ahead, but Duffin's gone too deep in the chicane, and O'Reilly's just going to switch underneath, and job done. And Skunky this time round not close enough, or is he? O'Reilly not quite got the run there, and Duffin now has to conceive going into Melbourne Hairpin, and through goes O'Reilly, or is he? I think he's having a little bit of a fight between Duffin. These two have been 1-2 pretty much the second half of this season, and Duffin now is about to hold on to that position.
Yeah, he's putting an absolutely mega defence up. Even if there is a few mistakes here and there, he instantly corrects them. and he is holding on to that fight as he does. He's P3. He wants a final podium to round out this season on a good note, and they continue around the track that he knows so well, that he knows and absolutely loves. Many of us love it, and it is not just him, it is all over the place. It's opened up a bit between the leaders as well. Same with the O'Reilly and Matthew Duffin, but not so much as actually Broad Hairpin. He's got an absolutely mega run there, O'Reilly. He's straight back under the back of Duffin. But right now you've got Goody, you've got Ramsell, you've got Cairn, who is still on the back of Ramsell, so they're still fighting against each other. You've got Leach, Varga, and then Langley rounds out the top 10, but Matt Wright is going to be right behind him. I bet he will want another top 10 to add to his resume at the end of this. And now they are going to continue around here. It's a full gold top 4, then the rest down to P12 is all silver. They are having an absolutely amazing time. McGowan is currently sat P13. He's having a good recovery drive after his drive-through, I would say, considering how short these races are.
Yeah, indeed. Ramsell, meanwhile, is defending heavily from Keynes. Guys, driver of the day is in the poll at the minute. So get your votes in on driver of the day. Hopefully we'll get some interviews later on. We will interview, obviously, your champion and your constructors champions, as well as Crane's going wheel to wheel with Leach. Momentarily he was going wheel to wheel with Ramsell, so a possible mistake through the chicane, and O'Reilly has got ahead of Duffin once again, and O'Reilly now holding on to the top 3 position. But Skonky has dropped off the back of pace of De Bont, so we'll see if he's able to bring that gap back down. That is the question, as Goudet now tries to hold off Ramsell, Cranes and Leach. There we got Varga, Langley, Wright, Aberdeen, McGowan, Archer, Marsden, Stardog, Millington, Flop, Cherrymore, Tipping, Best and Smith. Meanwhile, Tipping has got major damage to the front end of his car, and he is struggling towards the end of this race. But De Bont seems to be in a little bit of a cruise now here, Lexi, and looking like he's got him covered.
Yeah, absolutely covered nonetheless. So now he's just going to have to hope that a mistake happens, as Matthew Duffin still on the back of O'Reilly. As O'Reilly got past Matthew Duffin as they are continuing here. That's interesting. As John Gray now also there, trying to close in. So is Ramsell, and so is Keynes. It seems to be, I'm spotting a trend here in this final race. It was a very chaotic first 6 minutes. It's calmed down a bit. So, are we going to see a bit more argy-bargy wiggle on the exit in the final 6? Well, we're in the final 6. Oh, that is going to be Langley who went over the curb. He's gone to the far right-hand side, and that's going to give Matt Wright an opportunity to fly through, which he does.
This is a great opportunity as well for Langley. Depending on what happens tomorrow night for him and Vitus, him and Vitus will probably more likely be promoted up into the pro category. For some reason, I think my stream is being slow. Is it my end? I think it's caught up now. Okay. Either way, whatever happens for Langley coming into the pro-am, him and Vitus will be going up in the pro, and racing some of the pros here at the minute gives him a good eye-opening of seeing what he's going to be up against next season. So it's definitely something to learn and experience, especially from these guys, because a lot of them are in the top of their game at the minute, especially with ACC looking like we're coming to the end of its life, really, with the announcements of Project Motorsport Racing coming out, and so many other more games looking to come to consoles, especially Le Mans Ultimate is looking to come to console. Rennsport is another one as well. So this is probably coming to near the end of the ACC life. But nonetheless, it has served us brilliantly, as did Project Cars 2 back in the day. Obviously, Lexi, you went here in the Project Cars 2 days, but SimPlay has been going strong since lockdown, since 2020, and we are still going strong even 5 years down the line, and we are just getting bigger and stronger as each event goes by, and you can just see by the level of drivers and caliber in our league. As you see there, Crane's looking up the inside of Ramsell, and Ramsell gets closer to Goudet, but every time he gets close to him, he gets held up, and then Crane's is just behind him. Yeah,
it's just a pattern at this point of what is happening around this circuit. They are coming and going as fast as they might, with 3 minutes 53 on the clock here at Donington. It is slowly, ever so slowly coming to an end here. And like you said, we've got Project Motorsport and all that in the future, ACC coming to the end of its life. But at the end of the day, we still love this game for what it is. And hopefully we will have the games just as good as this. It served well, it can rest as we now continue around these circuits. Don't worry, we've still got another season to come your way. Dan informed you about that earlier, so it's not going anywhere yet. But it is now going to be the Bon who leads. He's not going anywhere either. He's absolutely flying ahead. And he's not getting overtaken anytime soon. Looks like both our predictions were wrong, Dan, as they are now continuing around this circuit. The Bon leads, followed by Skunky, followed by O'Reilly. Matthew Duff in P number 4. And now you've got all these drivers facing off against each other. And they are three wide going down into the chicane. That's Ramsell, Gooday, and Keynes.
Obviously, if they still got their strikes, then they will be able to use them. There is a slight delay on the stream again. I'm not sure why. The correct settings should be all correct. I did double check before we went live, so everything should be correct. But either way, it is the final stream, I'm afraid. So ZRX, thank you for the kind words. It has been a great season, nonetheless, Lexley. So I will be coming to you for a little bit of the highlights of the season. And a reminder as well, these guys will be doing a lap of honour in the in memory of Aaron, who we sadly lost, and that's why we've named the championship after his gamer tag, Whodarron, and we'll make sure that all these guys ends up doing a lap of honour. As Ramsell goes up the inside of John Goudet, John's going to keep his nose ahead as they go down the crane of curves, and Ramsell ends up on the dirt and contact there with Cranes. He manages just to keep it together, but Cranes will be able to get ahead, and here comes Gary Leach, and Cranes waiting for him so that Ramsell can get himself back and in a rhythm. But here comes Varga. Now here comes Matt Wright, and that's the chaos you were talking about. McGowan still trying to get past Aberdeen. He's not managed to find a way through yet, but Skunky has brought the gap down once again to De Bont.
Yeah, bringing the gap down once again, possibly looking to use those last embers of his racecraft in these final rounds. Flash in the background, apparently, for some of these drivers. Now Ramsell has to defend this. Varga look for the inside, down into the S's. No move done. 1:11 left as it's wheel to wheel. Both go do it. It's Ramsell and Varga go off here, and that is going to be the end to their battle. Millington picks up a drive through. Varga luckily got away with it, not as much as Ramsell, but really close between those two. That could have ended a lot worse with both of them in the barrier, which they luckily just about missed.
They did indeed. Meanwhile, Skunky and De Bont are still going at it to the very end. This is their last lap here. Last chance to get driver of the day in for your votes. Get that like button done as well. We have got the last half of this race to go. The last half of the Whodarron Cup. And last time we'll see the Ginettas. I'm not sure if they're going to make a return or not. It is down to admins what we will do for the side series. But either way, who's it going to be? De Bont or Skunky to finish the season on a high? Crane still holding off Wright and Langley as we've got our last few little battles going on as Millington does his drive through. That's not the best way to end the season. But here they come. It is De Bont and Skunky coming into the final chicane for the final time, and then down to Melbourne hairpin. This man, no, on the other hand, O'Reilly has been phenomenal once again. He has been undefeated in the GT4s. He has been the man to beat, and he is champion once again. But De Bont, no, coming into the final corner for the final time here at SimPlay Motorsport. Skunky giving the flash of the light, but it is going to be De Bont who will win the final race here at the Whodarron Cup. Congratulations to him. Skunky with the P2 position. O'Reilly, your champion, will finish in P3 and rounds off the season on a high. And then it's going to be Matthew Duffin to cross the finish line in P4 ahead of Goudet and then ahead of Gary Leach in P6. Then it's going to be Cranes in P7. 8th will go Matt Wright, Langley P9, Aberdeen will be P10, Varga P8, McGowan P12. But Ramsell will cross the line for 13th, and that will seal the deal for the SimPlay Racing Group. They will be Constructors champions. It's Archer coming home and taking the bronze win in 14th. Marsden 15th. Stardog in 16th. Flop will come home ahead of Cherry Moore for 17th place position. 18th will go the way of Millington. Then Best, Tipping, and then Smith as well. Reminders to the drivers that the next reset for the server will be for the formation run around the circuit. Millington now coming home for 19th place position. Best on the back of the group as well. And then Tipping is going to round off the end of this one as well. Skunky finishing the season off in P number 2. And we'll be back shortly as I will get the points put in. Final standings done. Obviously, there will be tickets going in as well. But I'll be back in a few moments.
All right. And we are currently looking at a formation, and it is all around the circuit, dedicated and in memory of Aaron, who of course it is named after his username, the Whodarron Cup. It is his legacy, and it is for him around this circuit. Of course, informed earlier on this year that unfortunately we lost him, and now they go around the circuit. It is led by all of these drivers, and it is a show of solidarity. It hit SimPlay, and it hit those who knew him even harder. It is his legacy, and it is known for him. Personally, I didn't know him, but I know that many drivers out there, and I know that some others can also speak for him. This was the side series. It got named after his username, as already stated, the Whodarron Cup, and it is a lap in his memory here at Donington to round out the season.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tribute there, Lexi. It's been a phenomenal season once again. And again, a massive thank you to all the drivers this season. It's been absolutely awesome. And obviously, a shout out to Tipping, Aberdeen, McGowan and Skunky, all people who were very, very close to Aaron. And obviously, I know for a fact that Andy has told me that I can't speak now. That the family has watched as well throughout the SimPlay season, and I hope the guys and the family are sitting and watching this stream right now, and I hope they are proud of what we have done here tonight. And like I said, I know Aaron would have loved it. I know that these guys would have thoroughly enjoyed watching all these guys racing, but we have come to the end of the season. Lexi, first things first before we get into interviews, driver of the day and your driver of the season.
Driver of the day, gotta give it to Skunky. Like, is any explanation needed? He was absolutely flying out there tonight after returning. So it's just a props to him. He was absolutely amazing. Driver of the season, I'm going to go with the champion, O'Reilly. He was absolutely amazing. He carried the ballast majority of the season, and he was still competitive all throughout, leading majority. So he's got to be my driver of the season. What about you, Dan?
Driver of the day, yeah, I have to agree with you. Skunky has been absolutely brilliant all night long, and it's nice to see him back where he belongs, at the front with the guys as well. But driver of the season, it's very, very difficult to look past O'Reilly, but also it's very difficult to look past Will Friedman and De Bont. Between the three of them, they have produced some of the greatest racing I have seen here at SimPlay Motorsport, but I have to go the way of O'Reilly. So O'Reilly for me, driver of the season. And speaking of other drivers, we do have the guys who are on your screen at the minute as well, your SimPlay Racing teams champions. And first things first, we will start off with Ramsel. Ramsel, it's been a hectic season, hasn't it, in the Whodarron Cup? It's been there's been interesting fights, there's been drama, there's been wheel-to-wheel action. But how's it finally feel that you and Duffin have sealed the deal and you are teams champions for the Whodarron Cup?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. First of all, shout out to Duffin himself. You know, put a lot of practice in, a lot of effort, trained me up to get where I am. Thanks to everyone at the SimPlay stable as well. Really helped bring me on. Yeah, roller coaster season. Start season didn't really go too great. I think I got caught up in too many midfield battles. Put me on the back foot a little bit, but I think I've just managed to turn this Ginetta on over time. And yeah, what a season! You know, big shouts to the GBR crew as well for giving us one hell of a fight all the way. And yeah. Can't wait to have a couple of weeks off now and relax, because it's been a very stressful couple of weeks.
Oh, you're not done yet. You've got one more event yet to go. You've got the pros to do on Thursday night. But, I mean, just talk roughly about this season. It's just been absolutely chaotic, especially with these Ginettas. And is there anything in your mind that sticks as a highlight for yourself this season?
Um, uh, there's been quite a few good moments, to be honest, but I wouldn't really say there's many highlights. It's just race after race. You know, there's been hard battles every single week. I've had loads of battles with Goudet. You know, especially for saying we've been on the championship fight the whole way. And the fact that we're battling side by side pretty much every race. But no, these Ginettas, doing a single class series race has been fantastic, and what a car to do it in. Such a lovely little car these are.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations. I believe this is your first title to your name within SimPlay, so congratulations on that one, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
And we go to the main man himself, who's been here, obviously, from the beginning, the owner of the whole thing. Duffin, second in the championship. Obviously, O'Reilly had you pretty much spanked pretty much most of the season, but you walk away still a champion. You are team's champion with Rob Ramsell in the SimPlay Racing name. How's it feel?
Yeah, good again. First of all, just like to give a big shout out to Darren and John Gooday, pushed us hard all season. Shame that Hooper and Spunky and McGowan couldn't finish the season, because I think them two teams was deserved winners, but you've got to be in it to the end, haven't you, to win the title. So no, big shout out to Rob. He's been huge, and once again, this is for Aaron, who obviously we sadly lost earlier this year. But no, good championship. You know, I didn't really look to keep second tonight, but Friedman wasn't here, so it meant I could just fully focus on this winning this team's championship.
Where does this stand on your constructors? Because you've won a few, you've won the Formula One, you've won obviously the Pro category, you've won a few others. Where does it stand on them?
Yeah, it's up there. You know, it's a tough one, because obviously we've introduced the categories this season for gold, for silver, for bronze, and you know, Rob obviously being a silver driver's, you know, it has really sort of come on as the season's gone on. So it's been a tough one. Obviously, I've won a fair few with Gary Leach, and that's been fantastic. Smithy one's still up there as well, but no, this one sits up there with Ramsey.
Any highlights to the year?
Monza, a pole position in a win that I really didn't expect to get, and I suppose that's, you know, that was the beautiful one that we had. And
obviously, we're not sure exactly yet. Myself and you, and Matt Wright and Mike will have to have the discussion. But the side series that possibly could come around, is it a return to the side series again, or would there be a possible return to the GT3s?
You have to wait and see at the minute. Depends on what the side series is. Just depends on commentators, doesn't it? Me and you both know that we race depending on what commentators we have. So there'll be discussions to have. There'll be discussions to have with the commentators we've currently got, and see what the series is, and we'll see what happens. But no, yeah, we'll see what happens next season. I'd like to be back if it's GT4 Ginettas. I'd like to be back with Rob to try and defend that championship honour. We'll see what it is. We'll see what the crack is, and we'll go from there. But yeah, no, great fight with O'Reilly in race 3. Want a big up props to him, because that was awesome. You know, never pushed so hard in my life. Sort of making a few mistakes. So congrats to him. I just want to give a special mention as well. Chris Daines in the chat has been supporting all season long. He's been texting me all season long, and every time he's popped round to the house, he's been like, "How's it going?" and blah blah. So big shout out to him, obviously, for the support in the chat. Just yeah, fantastic.
Well, nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the constructors, and congratulations on second place as well, runner-up this season. Congrats, man.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
And now we speak to your main man, your champion, Kieran. What a season, what a championship. In the end, you did win it a couple of rounds ago, even with a round of miss, but nonetheless, a phenomenal drive from yourself, and it's been an absolute pleasure watching you race. How does that one feel, mate?
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good to finally get over the line. Started slacking a little bit towards the end of the season, to be fair, struggling to find the time, and just sort of arriving, driving, and then typical wheel starts playing up. So I actually didn't know whether I'd be able to finish it, but I'm glad that I managed to turn up tonight. And you know, just wanted a bit of fun tonight, really, just have some good battles. And to be fair, I think that's what came of it. So. Yeah, it's been a flyer, to be fair. Just kept consistent with it all the way, and you know, consistency is key really when it comes to these championships. So Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this one, and obviously a bit unfortunate with the teammate issues, but that is what it is. It's racing, and I'm sure we can bounce back.
It was a bit of a shame that we didn't have the MSA boys to continue racing on, but either way, you have still had a bit of hard work with Will Friedman and De Bont as well throughout the latter end of the season. They really gave you a hard time, and for me and Lexi, I know for sure, definitely really thoroughly enjoyed watching you three racing, because that was some of the greatest racing that we've watched here at SimPlay. Just a quick comment on that, because those boys were giving you a headache, weren't they?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, I can't obviously name the exact round, but the weight obviously started playing a factor, and there was obviously been a few rounds where I've just sort of been on my ones, like, and with the weight, and other people haven't got it, so it got real tricky real quick. But take nothing away from the driving that the lads have done. We were bumper to bumper most races, and we kept it clean, and that's what you can ask for. So fair play to them boys. Like I say, if we can have sort of a more consistent season with Friedman as well and stuff, maybe next season, I'm sure it can be a lot tighter, and they'll be carrying the weight themselves. So yeah, it can be an interesting one for next season.
Obviously, there was the next question has already been answered. Will we see a return of yourself back? Because you seem to be a GT4 master. Depending on what the side series is, I'm sure we'll see a return of you next season, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say at the minute because I'm currently transitioning over to PC, so I'm a bit stuck on what to do at the minute. That's why the wheel problems have played a big factor with it, because it's not ideal. I was hoping to maybe get a PC and keep this set up for now, but looks like I'm gonna have to spend a bit more money and go all out. So we'll have to see what happens. But I enjoy racing here. It's always some good fun. So I don't see why not. But for now, I'd say yeah, you'll see a return.
One more to go. Thursday night. Rook is catching you. Can you get it done?
Yeah, it's close. I sort of let myself down with it, like I say, was absolutely smashing it throughout the season, but I was also putting quite a lot of seat time in, and it does make a massive difference. It's no excuses. If you can just get them extra hours in, get a feel for the car, it makes a world of difference. So fair play to Rook, he's been putting the time in. It's paying off. He's rapid at the minute, so I'm actually pretty happy though. To be fair, the fact it's come down to maybe a last round fight, I think it's going to spice things up a bit. And yeah, made the best man win. But fair play to Rook, he's come on mega. So yeah.
Let's just hope this old timer here doesn't get involved as well. But nonetheless, mate.
Yeah, well, no, mate, that's what I mean. They're still in it. Hopefully, it's just a good night's worth of racing. That's all you can ask for, No matter where you finish, as long as it's clean. Obviously, there's a bit of door banging, and it doesn't help with ACC physics. It seems like as soon as you just clip someone, it's just obviously very over-exaggerated. So, but as long as we can have a good battle, finish it off, I think that's all we can ask for.
Nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the championship once again. And also you got driver of the season from the fans' votes and from myself and Lexi. So a phenomenal season. And ladies and gentlemen, your Whodarron Cup champion, Kieran O'Reilly. Congratulations, mate.
Thank you.
And that is that, Lexi. We have come to the end of the season. I want to say a massive thank you to yourself, Lexi. It's been an absolute honour sharing the commentary box with you. And that is that. We are done for another season. We now look to see what happens in the Pro-Am and the Pro on Wednesday and Thursday night. 2 championships yet to confirm. But Lexi, it's been an honour commentating with you this evening and throughout the entire season.
Indeed it has. Of course, there's been a few where I've been off. There was the one last week where you were off. But either way, when we've been together, it's been an absolute pleasure, Dan. I'm sure this will happen again eventually one day. But for now, this is the end of the season. Where do we go from here? Because you've already said 2 things. Where do we go from here? Because Whodarron's done, but the others aren't.
No, they're not. And there is only 2 championships left available. The Forky Motorsport are now officially Pro-Am champions, and so is Team Audio Sport for Pro as well. But for Pro-Am and for Pro, it is down to 2. Well, technically 3 in Pro, but it's not really doable for the other. But for Pro-Am, it is Langley versus Vitus. It is down to 44 points. Who's going to take the win? Langley in favour at the minute, but Vitus is looking very fast here at Donington Park. And there is more chance of rain tomorrow for the Pro-Ams as well. So rain could really spice things up, Lexi. And finally, as well, the Pro Championship, the one that everybody wants to win. It is the wise old head of O'Reilly leading the way in the Honda by the young talent of Ben Rook, trying to take it to him. 42 points separate those two, and myself just outside of a chance, but unlikely to win it. But either way, it is going to be tight, it is going to be interesting, and it is going to be simply excellent to watch. I've been Dan Davis. It's been Lex and Marshall. We've been the Whodarron Cup, and we will see you in tomorrow night and whenever we see you next for the side series. But from everyone here at SimPlay Motorsport and the Whodarron Cup, race in peace, Aaron, and I hope you've enjoyed the season. We will catch you tomorrow night for the Pro-Ams. Good night.